as well and a lot of success on is where the circles are very readable. You know exactly, second circle, you know exactly where it's a home turf circle, but they took advantage of that. They outplayed Entropic completely. They took down Na'Vi and took that win in a proactive way, and I actually really enjoyed, especially also how Danger have been able to play throughout, and they're also dominating so much in their home region. There's no denial that they are one of the best teams here when it comes to frag and powder with the 1-2 punch of Flash and Nerds.
They are putting up big numbers. Yesterday's first game on Erangel in particular was a fascinating one because it was sort of a test of everyone's individual skill. There was no cover. Right. It was a challenge.
Exactly, and I mean, the way that 17 comes about the win, I could just repeat what I just said about the Miramar win. They come in center early, they get hard shifted away from time and time again, but they just slow down, play on the edge, dumpster everyone around them. They're a threat to be going up against pretty much no matter where you find them.
You say dumpster everyone around them, brings me to Na'Vi example in particular. We saw them win a game here, and I think it was number 3, where it was just, I'm sorry, they didn't take the win, but a hard-fought battle. No ammunition left in the guns, but smart early rotations and a good guess on like where the circles were going.
And in general, no matter what, Na'Vi's always going to have this information here. They're so experienced, they're always going to be looking ahead and playing ahead for them, knowing like the exact time when they have to move. Here, for example, with the day trade one, they took opportunities, they took chances, but Daytrade had them locked down. And no matter what we're seeing from Na'Vi here and what we're going to continue seeing is proactiveness and the hardcore fragging power from all of them.
It was almost that game was one of my favorites of the day because it was a chess match at the end.
It really was.
The way that they were trading reses and using smoke cover, it was a very cerebral end of the game, and both of those teams showed that they really thrived when it came to that part of the challenge.
I mean, play that end game back 10 times, and it would definitely have been a situation where it would have been ended 2-3 minutes earlier, because as you said, they kept on resting, they kept on getting into the best off-angle spots to keep the game going, to keep increasing their chances, but no one else able to do so.
Well, if you want to keep the game going, you can come on down here, watch the Grand Finals live, and we actually going to check in with Sam to say a little bit more about how you can keep the game going here.
What's up, gamers? Now, I know if you're watching at home, you're wondering what's all the hype about. You've seen the stage already, but there's even more to do here at the PUBG Global Championship. This is the event zone. So during the breaks between games, you can come here and you can hang out, and there's so much for you to do. 2 booths as you walk in. The first one, you can get some PGC tattoos, and you can also make yourself an epic PGC badge. It's so cool because you can customize it yourself, get the badge, pin it to you, and obviously if you attend every PGC, you can just keep collecting those badges. Look, I'm giving you good ideas. As you keep going, this one's really fun for me. All the PGC merch you can imagine. Remember, you can get this online as well, but it is here for you to buy if you're in Dubai. This is my favorite hoodie out of all of them. Check this out. It's so epic. And then the back is just beautiful. Absolutely dig it. I'm coming back to buy this. That's what I'm going to do a little bit later, but first we have to show you everything else because there is so much to do at the event zone. What you can't see around me is all the team banners are hanging, which is absolutely epic. Over here is a login center, so you can get yourself a craft and ID so you can play some PUBG. If you don't have one already, where have you been? What are you doing? What are you doing with your life? You've got to be jamming some PUBG. Here is a redemption center. Now remember, during the winners and losers brackets, I got to go to Lemire Beach, and I showed you that there was all this PUBG stuff happening around the beach. Well, you can earn points there. And then when you're here today, you can earn some more points. Then you can redeem your points and you can get some epic PUBG swag. So check this out. It's a little PGC coin box. There's like this really fun little mouse pad, and then there's also a PGC shirt. So all you need to do is come and play. And when I say play, I'm going to show you some of the stuff you get to do later. It's tons of fun. There's a photo booth here, so you can remember all your time at PGC, and lots of pro players are hanging around in the event zone sometimes, so you can make sure that you can get photos with them, which is pretty cool. That was my photo. And if you need a break from all the shouting by the stage, well, don't worry, because we got the LED screen. All the action is here. You will not miss a single game. You can just chill out, catch your breath, and after you've caught your breath, you got to go straight on over to one of the other fun activities. This is the Nerf gun station, so I really dig this. You can shoot the targets over here. On the other side, you can throw a ball to hit the tins. You get those coins for the swag, remember that. And then, I really, really love this, and I know all the boys on the desk are keen to do it as well. The reflex test. If you're a pro player, your reflexes need to be really good. This is how you check how good they are. I actually asked a bunch of pro players to come and join me and face off against me, but they were too chicken. Tickleton, I see you. And if you keep on going, the opportunity is here to practice some PUBG in the practice zone. You can watch the pros play. During the breaks, you can come here and do everything that you saw and practice it right here. I was going to ask some of these guys how's it going, some of the goals as well, but no one likes being interrupted in games, so I'm not going to do that. But you can see everyone is jamming, really excited to kickstart the day. And then finally, this is my favorite part of the whole event zone, because when I first saw this, it gave me goosies. Like, this is really special. 32 teams are here, all their jerseys on display, and of course, they are all competing for the PUBG Global Championship 2022 trophy. This is it. This is what they want to win. They would not let me lift it because it is on show, so all I can do is pretend to touch it, but we're getting hyped. You heard the music in the background. We're getting ready for it. The first day of the grand finals blew my mind. I'm so ready for day number 2. So you know what? I'm going to head back to the arena to join you so we can watch the games. Let's go.
Thank you, Sam. Great job. And also, I think she learned a valuable lesson. The only way
Ой, блядь, опять пиздят нахуй. Так нет концерта, так заебали разговаривать. Давай, запускай уже катки нахуй.
What these players continue to bring and what they bring to you
Да,
in
это
terms
уже
of
скоро,
points. Let's look
уже
at the
с полчаса
fantasy
идет
league.
нахуй.
Right now, example is continuing to put up massive points. The Toby strat continues to work.
It works at least for now. The whole commit to 3 players and then a sub. I was scared going into it, but right now it's looking good. So thank you, example, for keeping my hopes and dreams alive.
So that's it. You can see at home, track along. Remember, if you guys have those teams, get in there. Tell us how you're doing. Let us know over on social media. We'd love to hear about it. And we're also going to show you exactly how it is that the rest of our team is doing, because it has become quite the talking point and arguing behind the scenes. So once that's ready, we'll show you where we're tracking right now. But I'm also loving seeing other players who maybe don't get as much love as normal because of their prices are getting a lot of sort of showcasing. A lot of people have chosen Ivas, for instance, as our fantasy picks.
Yeah, and in this case here, obviously, let's talk about who's leading right now. I'll start. Alex is not here. And I promised every time he's not here and we talk about it, we have to go away. And APAC. And, you know, Senex has been doing well. I'm 15 points behind him. I'm excited for that one. Toffees, let's talk about yours since you're number 3.
All that matters is that I am in front of Porosaurus. Right. I beat him by 1 in PCS. He never heard the end of it. And he swore he'd beat me here at PGC, and so far it is not to be. Toby,
let's talk to the other guys.
I felt like Matchroom was really lonely down there in the bottom, so I was like, you know what, I'll take a break. I don't need to win every time, so I'm just going to chill down there in the bottom with Matchroom and then let you guys get a win for once.
I heard that you gifted example a level 6 backpack so you can jump on the back of him.
I did
run right to the front.
I did talk to Soul coming into this day, asking could you please stop fracking and give some of the kills to Helen, because kind of need Helen to step up for the fantasy team here.
I see.
But other than that, you know, me and Matchroom, we're chilling down the bottom.
It would be nice to see Helen step up. In fact, I think some of these mid-tier teams like Donawa and Tropic, who are on the cusp, had an okay day yesterday. And Tropic's one I want to kind of get into for a second. You guys are aware of them. You know how they play. They came through opens. What did you think about the performance yesterday?
I mean, not only did they come through opens, but they came through in the very final game of Grand Survival, and then they start off the day with a 2nd place. After that, a 3rd place. After those 2 matches, not too much going on, but they really got off to a solid start yesterday. If they can replicate that here today, that would be phenomenal for them.
Yeah, they had some rough games on Miramar. Let's hope they kind of take this break from yesterday to today and prepare a little bit better. Of course, there's a lot of sponging in the top. The top teams did extremely well, and it's going to be hard to kind of catch them. But right now, I think a lot of preparation
описание это моё, ёп.
is going to help a lot of the teams that are kind of in our mid-pack.
And one of the teams to me that kind of went, I don't want to say under the radar, because they aren't a team to do so, but because we talk so much about your twisted minds with the back-to-back, with the 17 with the with the top performance, United, they didn't have a single game outside of top 6. They sit there in 4th place, but still, it's not a team that's on our minds today because of the standout performances we saw from the other 3 teams yesterday.
Absolutely. I didn't want to say anything because, you know, then
Слава мне охот был писать.
but they were stepping up. They were doing gate.
For sure.
Kickstar was a little weak. If he steps up today, I feel like we'll be in good shape.
No matter what, if United does well or not, if they end up in the top 3, we'll still claim them as Europe.
Either way, EU's coming out with a great
It's completely fine. I think pride and bias is good, and I think in general, you want to root for somebody that you feel closer related to. I think that's fine, and I think United definitely yesterday, it's remarkable what they're able to do, no matter the circumstances of how hard the circles and how hard the games was again, because they did not get any foot inside the door at all. They had to fight for everything themselves.
It is, and I think they've got a really good story about sort of trying to displace Sonics as the top team in that region. We've had a lot of good stories in this event. In fact, 17, who's in the lead, said he's retired. retiring at the end of this year. This is sort of the last act for him, and it's got to be cool. I mean, you guys we've all been watching this for a long time. To think that you could start at the beginning and end your career with possibly a lifting of the trophy.
That would be the ultimate crowning of a getaway. Like, if that's the way to go down and out, then that's the good way to do it.
It's bold of him to say it, though, because what if they don't win? Right?
Yeah,
That's tough.
And he's going to be like, it was so close, I want to try it again. But yeah, no matter what, if he retires or not, which is very likely, talk to him yourself. It's going to be a fantastic run for them over here. Having a 20-point lead in day number 1, if you can bring any of that momentum into the next couple of days, it's going to be very good no matter what. I'm almost at this point already, with the amount of points they have, almost guaranteed a top 3, top 4, no matter what their performance is. But then again, have Picardo Pachinki to themselves, uncontested, fantastic loot spots, so I'm expecting them to continue in that top.
I was gonna say, if we go through not even the whole day, but just half the day today, and this lead have not been mitigated by any other teams, we're reaching a point where it's 17's tournament to lose. They have to make big mistakes in order for teams to catch up to them, and yesterday they were pretty much flawless.
Well, they looked flawless yesterday. Will they leave the door open today? We're about to find out. It is time to start day number 2 of PGC 2022.
Стартует, наконец-то. Пошла раскаточка.
对于昨天来讲，开赛前，在我们了解过后，觉得对我们相应比较厉害的队伍其实已经落选，我们会觉得打起来会比较轻松一点。但是没想到从第一局开始，发现强度还是非常的高。这么多的强队当中，我们还是得第1，我们是不是很厉害？在这个决赛当中，我觉得对我们最有压力的还是哪位？一直以来，从 PUBG 有比赛开始，一直是属于老牌强队。从开赛到现在决赛开始，他们一直都是第1名，所以说对我们来说压力也是很大的。
We did play good overall yesterday, but not first. Whatever. Next day. I think it doesn't matter like what place you're each day, each gaming day, unless you're first to the last one. One of the biggest reasons I was excited for the grand finals is the live audience. When I first entered the arena and people like started getting in, I just really felt that people are enjoying the game. They really want to watch.
Мы заняли 3-е место. Я считаю, что все большие молодцы. Им не хватило немножко стабильности, но я доволен. Вчера 17 заняли 1-е место, Нави 2-е, но даже если они хорошо сыграли в первый день, это не означает, что они будут играть так же хорошо и в последующие дни. Вчера мы играли неплохо, взяли даже 2 победы, но мы не хотим останавливаться и планируем сегодня перегонять и Нави, и догонять 17.
Конечно, ты чё, блядь?
Европейской командой, которая выиграет PGC.
I wasn't performing for quite a while before this event.
Тоже наш, ёп.
This grand final.
将捍卫 PCL 荣光，这个我们一定会夺冠。
Он по-русски разговаривал на превьюшке. Все русские, 2 команды русские, Нави и Твист.
See, there we go. I think we might have fixed it that time. There we go. All right, so you heard it coming out from the players themselves. It's one of those, if you're not first, you're last kind of mindsets coming out. And everybody else was so serious and so dark. And then there's 17 that's just like, nah, and having a big laugh about it, having fun. Because, let's be honest, they had a great day yesterday. And a big part of that was Lil Ghost, who was putting up some big numbers.
No, he's absolutely insane. I mean, clearly showcasing what he's capable of on the biggest stages, that he is indeed one of the best in the world. And of course, I mean, we got to talk about Show. I mean, he has said, and we confirmed it with him, this is it. He's done after this. This is the final act for Show.
Oh, yeah.
It all ends here. So, I mean, it's really exciting to see him, a team, you know, he's been on a team that's been perennially 2nd place or 3rd place, you know, never quite able to overtop, not just in his region, but globally as well at the PCSs and PCLs. So this is their opportunity to kind of really put their stamp on history.
I mean, the desk was talking about it, and we were kind of talking about it some yesterday. There's a lot of teams that are here right now that are finding their opportunity. And for a player like Show, this is something that he's been around for so long. This is the dream, and now it is finally potentially attainable. The issue is, yesterday was a great day, but that's going to be crazy to try to replicate.
No, I mean, a 71-point day is almost as good as it gets in 5 games.
Yeah.
That's about the best I think I've ever seen in a event of this caliber, let's put it that way. I've seen 80-point days, but they're very rare.
And yeah, at this stage with these players, it is going to be so hard. Here, the audience coming alive because we are moving into our first game of the day, and it is going to be on the sandy, sandy dunes of Miramar.
Let's get it. Miramar to start. Plane path right over Campo Militar, cutting through to Los Leones. And yeah, this one's a little bit of the eastern side of things. So, you know, sometimes on the outside of San Martin or things like that, there might be a little bit of scuffling for vehicles. We'll see, or maybe around the west of Picado, but it just all kind of depends on, you know, exactly how the teams want to, you know, go for their alternate drop spots if you're one of the western looting teams.
Going back into our discussion about 17 for just 1 second, we have Little Ghost that's sitting at 18 kills, not bad for a team named 17, and he's already surmounted his team name in one day. But I want to go back to show and 17's storyline, because we actually kind of have a history with them, to say the least. I know many of you are very familiar with the 4 a.m. nade, and what happened with that.
Я его и так описываю.
That was 17 and
18 его вообще красавчик. Вместе все держатся, ебать. И заберут победу, нахуй. А? Заберут матч, нахуй, у них. Будут ебать, у них нет никаких разлетов.
Got wiped out, and then Captain went on to win that game against another guy who's in this lobby, Waikikimukau. So a lot of history here, of course.
Они на карте, они вместе, ебать, раз, два, три, четыре. Они 4 на одной дороге, импалу заняли, ёпт. И зона там как раз. Твисты, они опять на свою позицию прыгнули. 17-й опять в Пикадо воюют, ебать. Пикадо заняли, ёпт.
And get his first title here at PGC 2022.
Meanwhile, Lugarux is just trying to not die as it looks like he's got
нету, блядь.
This is the continuation of the Los Leones story, as these two teams are close
Уходит,
to each other,
уходит,
but not
пытается
like in
уйти.
I would say it's uncomfortable, but not in the worst of ways. We saw them kind of lean into a west and east split coming out, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see them just kind of continue that throughout the day, as we do, I believe, have 3 Miramars that we're going to
Вчера последний они топчик заняли, 5-1 накинуло.
We saw them kind of be a little bit close for comfort. Remember in one of the Miramars where they were kind of like cut in two, but as the day went on, they kind of just never really fought. It never really amounted to anything. So you kind of expect that to be the case here. You know, Entropic at a decent start to the day. We are switching in Ninja 2K for Smell for the Expendables here, and you know, a great player.
Я не чекал. Я не посмотрел, 3 песчанки, либо нет.
In and out, and sometimes it's just more of a plan. They've already decided that we're going to do it this way.
Возможно, 2 таких, 3 таких. Твисты сразу заняли на свое место.
We can play better, and I'm happy to be here, and it's a very good feeling to play these interesting games. It's a little bit hard to have a long chill, but we have individual trainings, we have team analytics, so it's our secret, yes. Yes, of course, it's our car. We will show our best game. I think it's 17 gaming.
Ну, разлет хороший пока. У твистов тоже. Они твисты на свое место прыгнули за пикадой сюда на эти.
In my opinion, their catch meta, there was good with playing with these teams.
Well said, and I'm glad to see that the car hunt is going to continue as we move over to the next map.
17-й тоже едет. Но он к своим, мне кажется, едет. Хули им чекать, когда они в зоне, ёп. Они прям в центре зоны были.
You know, Perfectix there talking about how obviously Navi and 17, the two teams ahead of them, are his biggest concern, his biggest rival, so to speak. But United's right up there. I mean, there's a pretty stark divide from 4th to 5th right now, an 11-point divide. And, you know, as well, talking to Kickstarter,
они же из пикада, ёпт. Всё, тупанул. Они же пикада прыгали.
They're going to end today maybe 20 points ahead. You know, whoever's in that 4th place to 5th place is going to be like a 20-point gap. We'll see if he's right. You never know, but you know, there's a lot of confidence there in those top 4 teams, and rightly so.
I mean, we were seeing them repeatedly yesterday. Now it's about who did their homework and managed to find something.
Ну тут мотик, конечно, такой себе, нахуй. На нем сам быстро высаживает, у них баги, ебать. У Нави пока все хорошо.
Are the islands that are inside this circle, but no, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely not. Not in this circle. I'll let you know if it's
SKS-ка.
possible.
If Paper starts screaming at the top of his lungs,
yes,
then you know that there's a chance.
You will hear me. I will be very, very excited. This one's pretty likely to end kind of in the area where United is.
Калашик сейчас подымет.
Typically east of Minas Generales, south of El Azahar, north of Impala. In that general vicinity. Is generally where these end. Again, we've seen a lot of crazy ones that have ended in very unusual spots so far this tournament. So, you know, anything's possible. But for now, Navi's already pretty deep in there as well. So, kind of our front runners, United and Navi have taken the most central locations. There's 17 sitting right behind Navi.
Мини-кэмка сам то понимает, что там есть, походу. Там есть враги, сейчас будут чекать.
Oh yeah, could intersect right in between them and catch the other members of Twisted Mind. Tulin's already taken some shots
Я не знаю, зачем-то.
Into Yoho that might discourage.
Листы зачем поделились?
Yeah, that looks like that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, this is, you know, Batu's got to be a little bit careful since he's on his own, but it looks like he just kind of wanted to send some warning shots and then was immediately into
Если примут, то пиздец будет.
FaZe coming in from the north, typically a pretty late entry team is FaZe. They like to play edge early.
Ну, он тачку, наверное, чекает, но здесь, видишь, к нему едут прям.
Normal, a lot of times they're kind of riding in right with the blue, but because the circle positioning a little bit closer to their drop spot, they're able to get there a little bit ahead of time. The Freaks, you know, it's not the best.
Главное дело не дать 17-м оторваться, на. Оторвутся, пиздец будет долгий. Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой.
Yeah, the COD's done. This is tough. I mean, you know, we've seen this a lot with these widespread teams.
Throw yourself to the ground.
I mean, he might be able to get out of this, but even if he does, it's not ideal. We see this a lot, though, Matt, with the widespread teams yesterday and today, where people are getting punished for taking all this space because everybody's trying to take the space. So they're, you know, they're kind of like these solo players are butting heads.
Oh, well, now here's the problem. You made the commitment over there in the Expendables, who are chasing...
А там, видишь, те заходят.
Are going to want some of this. Sakari's got to step away from this position, and now the dominoes are starting to fall. Once one member goes down, you can see the repositioning now starting to come out, be a problem into another problem, as it's going to be Freaks finding themselves pretty, like, all by themselves. And for all the struggles of getting a COD res, Blood says, nah, let's just continue to do that. Damn, what? From that far away?
Yeah, that's a pretty good shot there. That's a good...
Тройки видел, заебашил.
So, nice shooting from Flood, and, you know, the problems are mounting here. I think Hikari and Lash just
Троечки, ебать.
They are really...
Тройка зарешала, на.
Fight against the Expendables, especially with Leviz's flank here on the edge. I mean, Hikari's just holding, and the longer he's here, the worse this gets.
I mean, the Expendables don't have anything to lose in this fight, and it is the Freaks, and they're going to run into this one, but good shots.
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой.
Нет. Onto Levis, but that's going to be from somewhere entirely.
That was his teammate. That was Duck Juice.
I was trying to get excited for Freaks for a second, but no. Well, hey, good job on the Expendables saying nobody else can ruin our fight except
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой.
Yeah, I mean, they do take E-end out here, but that's going to be a big double kill for Lash K. Duck Juice with a bit of a whoopsies is trying to salvage something out of that fight, but not a good start for either team, as Shinboy and Yao have squared up with the overpeakers. Already one knock onto Jeems. The grenade barrage going to come out. Looks like it's going to go a bit wide to find any follow-up damage.
Now Sparking is going to be trying to make the push into this one. He's got to be careful with that hillside. Might get some more vision. Got to be careful making these peaks up over. Miramar, you never know. Once you make that crest, it's a big issue.
Ехи под шумок заходят, на.
The overpeakers get some more damage to them, but now overpeakers, they've been kind of... This has kind of been their life so far, is they've been having a lot of fights in the early section, usually taking a casualty, and then have somebody that kind of like limps in and is finding some kills in these later stages.
Yeah, it's been a rough go to start for the overpeakers. They're not having a bad day by any stretch of the imagination. 28 points. They're doing a good job with the recovery.
I mean, damage control is good.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, the recovery, the damage control is really good. It's just some of these early situations they find themselves in are usually not the best. They often are losing. It's been Jeems typically early, or Jeems is like, you know, kind of stuck on his own, one of the two. So overpeakers, yeah, I mean, you have high hopes with them with the individual abilities. So of course, Clib, Vard, those guys are just absolutely cracked out of their minds. Back over to this Expendables fight where they did get the res.
Либо фризы будут высаживать.
You know, they're stuck. There isn't a lot of ability for them to escape that currently.
I don't
Зашел,
want to punch
зашнерился.
down on the leaderboard by any means, but I did want to point out the placements for all the teams that we're presently seeing fight at this stage on the leaderboard, and that kind of feels like the symptom of what's been going on and why they're having so much trouble making it in that late game. These early game fights just they can't quite secure the placements that they need in earlier stages. But hey, Lou Ghost going down early from Lou. That's going to be big.
That's huge. He's done. There's no way anybody's getting to him. He was all on his own.
Quick flush. Perfex is like, no chance. Not going to let this one happen.
There was a yell out in the crowd there, and I know a lot of people know how important that is for Twisted Minds, how important that is for 17 Gaming. You know, Lil Ghost, the shot caller, you know, kind of like a dual role, I suppose, with Suju. But, you know, you don't want to see that with the way he was playing yesterday, with the way he was just absolutely barnstorming these lobbies.
So much of the way that we see 17 play is based off of his play style. Like him just being able to unlock the doors for how they want to move forward. So now it requires a structure and change of plans.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be a retreat to the La Bendita crater, maybe kind of hoping for a southern shift. It can still happen. There's still a bit of playable space down there. As now we still have Overpeakers and Yahoo just exchanging bullets without much in return on either side. And Shinboy just going to watch the line as, I mean, you know, this one's tough because nobody can really commit to this fight, and that's actually, this might be the go for OP with that knock from Solalzi from range.
But it's so hard to move in this position, and you can see the fact that Overpeakers want to. They're trying to stretch in, and it looks like, okay, maybe we can make a move back into this dip. Yoho does manage to get into resible positions already. Sparking's playing very far back, and man, long-range shots coming up big already. God, can he hit it again? I wanted to see that.
Yeah, that's about 550 meters away or so for Solalzi, that knock that he got onto Yahoo. So, you know, those bolts, that's why they're scary. You never know when they're just going to find your head, and, you know, the best of the best are quite good at making them connect. So you can see Yahoo still scrambling. They've got the res, and again, this fight is very, like, precarious because there's a lot of teams that can see it. There's a lot of teams that can see what's going on, so it's really hard for either team to really commit to a fight.
I mean, you can see what's going on there. Yoho is just trying to, like, figure out some way to get their feet back under him. Overpeakers wants to peek it, but then they can't, so it's just creating this set of issues where really they want to just wipe the other person out and get control of this area, but you just can't do it.
That's absolutely nasty shooting from Lou. Just riding the buggy down the hill, gets in the back seat, and just pops the head of Lil Ghost. I mean, that's the kind of play you're going to need to get back and catch up that, you know, more than 20-point deficit.
We've got two different stories that could be going on as the next circle is about to pop. We still have a lot of the Impala fields that are in play, and fields have been kind of a theme, at least between you and I and the games that we cast. So if it leans into the south, that means the fact that territory is going to be very hard to claim. If it does stay in the north, most of the teams not going to have to move, and definitely much more comfortable for all these teams to try to find somewhere to play.
Yeah, and it's only phase.
Да, смотри, будет замес от этой. Нокнут, нет? Экает, наверное, либо ждет остановочки, чтобы на верочку забрать. Ой-ой-ой. Вообще не летит.
For QM on the eastern coast and Tropic wide split on the south, and you have Cerberus ahead of them, kind of controlling the compound to the west of Impala. And okay, we are going right towards Minas Generales, so this is pretty difficult. This next circle should shift south, but
I would love a Minas ending, because Minas is just a fun place to fight.
Well, we had one already end on that compound. Remember, Navi got their win in that compound that Twisted Minds just
17 едут, 17.
Maybe that compound's got the magnet.
Главное дело 17-х закрыть.
Nigh unbeatable compound if somebody controls it. It is extremely difficult to crash it.
Two teams that still do not want to fight each other, but right next to each other. It looks like Freaks are going to be more active inside. As some of our rotations are starting to pop off, don't be surprised if you see a knock or something else happen while we're watching what's going to be going on here, as we do have Yahardi making their rotation. We have QM taking some shots, and I think it looks like we have Levis that was trying to prep that one out. He's going to go ahead and flush himself out. And now, can we get anything more with it? Freaks do at least manage to take down the Expendables and get control over this territory.
Yeah, 4 kills is pretty good here for the Freaks. You only lose one in the process of kind of a fight that you didn't want to take, that kind of started with the knock onto a COD and snowballed into, you know, the Expendables trying to capitalize on that. But they have their rotation to make. They're probably going to have to try to come in from the north side. That's about the only area that has any open space. And we'll see. And Tropic has a long road. Already made their rotation to the Bandita.
We've been talking a lot about 17.
Вот Твисты, видишь, килл сделали. КДФ 4 забрала те команду. Но те уже не подымутся, если они сегодня вот сейчас еще одну группу проебут, можно домой сразу ехать. Ну, либо фидить просто, заезжать, фидить, отдавать. Вон, смотри, из Йоха нокнул на вять, да, ну. Одного.
FaZe trying to cut in to the northeast along with the Freaks. 17 in the exact same position they were in when Navi won that game from Twisted Mind's compound back during the winners brackets on the edge of Minas Generales. So you expect 17 to get deep into this one as well.
Смотри, залетит, не залетит от на... А это... Вот, этого смотрим. Посмотрим, залетает.
Starting to brew down in the south, where it looks like Question Mark is going to be moving into TMA.
Yeah, and Wildcard might have something to say about that fight potentially as well. The Freaks are going to have to chew through some blue as FaZe is loading up, and you know the Freaks are kind of watching to probably try to backfill wherever FaZe goes. Here's that fight you were just mentioning. QM a little bit above TMA here. There's kind of a valley in the middle of all of this, so.
And Navi's not gonna let this fight happen, man. They're pinning everybody.
A wild card as well. Again, if there's some shots, maybe they get involved. But yeah, Navi is definitely keen to just make life as miserable for people to their south as possible.
I mean, we can see
Нави, высадят, нет?
We got the spectator. Navi can just see everything because of their position right
Нихуя
now,
не
and
высадили.
they are just living the information.
Вообще не летят, походу.
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой. Да,
Нави высадил одного.
I mean, they've just been disgusting all tournament, and they continue to just rain terror upon all the other teams. Hobbit's really weak to the blue, and he's gonna go down. He can't. He doesn't have enough time. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Zhao Hai answers the question for him and takes him down.
Well, with this, the Freaks have also decided that they don't want to deal with FaZe and are now coming down into the south, and looks like they could be rolling pretty close to this neighborhood. We'll have to see if they continue to path down into the fields itself. We still have a doozy that is up, looking down into TMA's position. Gonna hit a nice nade onto it. Now, what are they going to try to do? Within lower numbers, it looks like they're just trying to reset. Freaks still hear this, and they're still hanging out blue right now. We also do have FaZe that did move forward, but are very close to Danawa, and that could be a fight that's going on any second.
Yeah, the Freaks here have to make a move, and they've got QM on the bad side of a hill out in the open, able to find a knock. Little help from Yuppie as well. Dante trying to fortify the lines, throwing some smokes to try to cover this res onto Phil first, putting some shots down into TMA to keep them honest, but this is getting pretty dangerous for the Freaks. They have been out in that blue for quite some time, and FaZe
забирают.
ticks hard.
Не знаю, смотрим, залетит, нет.
All the teams just trying to go. Lulu tries to go for some shots, but it's gonna be hot. That gets the knock onto two rolling through there. Trying to at least use a key of bullets to find some way through this doorway. TMA still hunkered down
Сегодня КДФ что-то, смотрю, показывать начинает. За зоной у них один. Добивает. 5 киллов уже они сделали.
On TMA. Meanwhile, Danawa has crossed paths with FaZe as they have to enter the new circle. FaZe is ahead. They've already got Helen down. Helen kind of acting as a scout and a cod.
КДФ, смотри, ебашут сегодня вообще на изи. Уже 5 забрали нахуй. Вообще у них четенько все так выходит, грамотно. А уже вот 7, пока тебе говорил, 5 было у них. Но они вдвоем остались. Просто вообще сейчас так выглядишь, блядь.
Yeah, I was expecting Wildcard to maybe get involved in this eventually, and now might be their opportunity.
Видишь, 17 одного забрали. Нормально. Да, из 17-х одного убили.
Meanwhile, Danawa did get the knock onto two members of FaZe. Another grenade coming into Diggory. He is super weak.
Yeah, last one up. 8C did go down a little while before this one, and so it looks like it's just going to be a matter of time. Diggory, he also has EU United on the other side of this that hears what's going on, but they don't have
прям над головой взорвалась.
Lined up right now. So Soul's going to do a little bit of a car dance, step in, tries to go for the spray into it, and it's actually going to be a couple, at least one kill trying to be picked up by Stingers.
Yeah, Snakers and United now want a third party this, and rightly so, especially with this
Шумок.
knock. It's only 2 members standing for it. Donovan,
Шумок
you
эти
can see the
идут.
utility coming out, but Lambu with some good shots to keep Rello back, to keep him honest, force him to go back for the heal. Meanwhile, Kickstart and Snakers still continue to hold the ridge line. They aren't pushing super aggressively, though.
And they can't make too much of a move because they have overpeakers just to the south of them, with the circle now pretty much favoring Yoho's position right on top of their hillside. All those fights that we were watching a second ago with question mark now also have to be very careful, as it's going to be Hokari and the Freaks that are moving very, very close. It looks like they want to intersect in this, not quite forgetting about the fact that there was
Смотри, КДФ может забрать сейчас свое эмо.
Yeah, and eventually they're going to
Одного.
blink a move. Whoa, Adam just got absolutely yeeted by himself. Waikikamuka isn't going to get knocked by that grenade. It was on the other side of the fence, and the damage does not go through. Vard, what in the world? Who just hit Vard?
Да не показывают, тут видишь, вот такие замесы показывают, а там на дальнике редкера. Сейчас может на повторе посмотрим. Так я тоже вижу, что он фраг. Еще один. Третий фраг у Нави.
But Donawa was able to get back up to 3 members. The res came through because it United couldn't push up that hill. Akkad actually found that knock on Dante, but now you've got Twisted Minds as well, kind of keeping their eyes on 17. They know they want to keep track of him. Akkad here, can he win the fight? Oh, just ran out of bullets.
Blue's going to be coming in. He's trying to make a move away from this one. Does get flashed. Now he's trying to go for the press in. He knows he's got the angle and does finish it off. Akkad at 4 kills. The Freaks at 9. This is a bad game for them, but the kills are going to make it fine.
Yeah, Akkad's having a great game.
Видишь, как они ебашат. А были на предпоследнем месте. Если так пойдут по 9 фрагов, они так догонят топчик, даже если брать не будут.
It's going to be more kills going over to Navi's side now, trying to chase up after 17. In Tropic, man, there is nowhere for you guys to go. We've got Day Trade on one side taking the shots, and you can choose to run right into Twisted Minds, but that's going to be about the only options you have to work with. Just trying to use the hillside to block out some here to try to stop in this position. They at least managed to get by, but guess what?
Там к твистам, смотри, подъезжает. Сейчас -1 твист может быть.
Yeah, I mean, at least it isn't quite as ratty this time. I mean, Belmoth had a fantastic play there against United that probably prevented them from winning a game on Erangel, but Day Trade here. Slow and steady is the name of the game for Day Trade. Their macro is really good in terms of just playing safe early, getting deep into late games. We saw it a couple times yesterday. They won a game, but
сейчас зона будет решающая вот эта.
is going to light up the kill board.
So it's kind of a recessed hill as we're looking at this. Everything's kind of moving down into the road. That's why these teams are now starting to fight much closer in range, but do have some segments as vision isn't the cleanest just yet, with the circle now continuing to favor Yoho's positioning as well as Twisted Minds to some degree. Day Trade looks like they're trying to go after Entropic, but can't make too much of a move just due to that still press coming out from
Нави под Этреем работает.
Not finding any damage for Nurens, and I should say Day Trade doesn't usually get a lot of kills early. They can get a lot of kills. I should try to clarify that. A good spray around the corner by Nurens, and he's going to hold it down. He saw another member in there. Clips into QBE a little bit. QBE trying to watch the edge of this smoke. Stuns are out on both sides, though. He should be done to yeah, he's just done. Nurens with a good double.
So that gives Day Trade the capabilities to move in. Very close to Navi, but Twisted Mind says, oh no, that's not going to happen. With the firefight, they now move into
Твисты сразу под шумок подтягиваются.
But they have got to be careful. It's going to be Dano's Soul up on the top of everything, looking down into Twisted Minds. Also, I think that we see a couple of shots coming out from Wildcard as well. So vision now starting to become paramount. Every single time you go for one of these peaks and one of these pushes, it's going to be a third or fourth party.
Lou just that double spray to open it up. Spyro just absolutely money with that mini all tournament. Hit Chills. He is down. You can see they're trying to find that flush onto Nurens. Belmoth still here, going to now attempt the res. They feel like they're safe enough behind the edge of this hill, and I think they are more or less.
Понимает, что надо сейчас.
That should be at least
Пока, наверное, твистам отойти.
Here's the hillside that I was talking about. You can see that the guys up on the top can look down, but they really can't do too much because we've got United, Danoa, and 17 all up here. They're kind of stalling each other out. Navi has now moved into the north and have tried to encroach on the hillside that we see the Balefrost has been trying to hold down. That means the fact that they're starting to get some vision to wild.
Ну, Нави подошли, кстати, к зоне. Смотри, через холмик обошли. Ну, у них КДФ сзади. Может сейчас им навредить.
Kills off of it. Akkad trying to put up a hero play. Yeah, and now it's going have wiped Danawa out. 17 still 3 strong. A lot of damage done to show. Grenades are going to start to come out, and that's a great knock onto Suju.
United starting to realize
Глянь,
they
он
have
там.
a big opportunity in this game. Just 2 members up for 17 in a very close range. This is a
17 ног один.
is trying to take some shots in to see if maybe he
Ну,
can
Нави
do
так все
something out of
нокнутый и
it. But it's
лежит
now
пока.
going to be a big problem. 17 Gaming has a very, very hungry E United right in front of them.
Yeah, and Show there was just trying to prone hold an angle, and it was spotted and cleared by Flood. So Xiao Wu, the last man standing for 17.
Повтор гранаты
You
сейчас
know
будет, наверное,
United
нет.
wants to wipe them out. They want to gain traction. They want to catch up on that leaderboard.
Getting them out as early as possible. Still 17.
Закрыли,
Going
убили,
down early in
все.
the placements every single time. This could be better for them. Now just 1 member up. As you can see, utilities starting to come out. Shots are still going off in the distance, but that is well played. It's going to be 1 down, and Snaker's quickly flushed as well. Trying to see if maybe they can just run away. The rest of E United, though, is on the hunt.
Yeah, he's holding it. He's got it.
They picked it up. What?
There's no way Xiao Wu holds it down and takes E United out.
He baited them all around that rock and just demolished
Сразу 6
them.
очков навалит. Там, если один убиваешь
I mean, that's just,
Тиму,
those
там
are
тоже
the
очки
moments where
даются.
you just start to feel like this team is destined for something great. Those are the plays that make or break tournaments.
И видишь, они Тиму закрыли, у них было 72 очка. Сейчас 79.
Making it really problematic for Wildcard to be able to accomplish too much of anything. Nikos does get a knock onto Uba, but this is just kind of the problem right now. We have Twisted Minds that's starting to get control over the circle, and it's just going to be right up next to Na'Vi as all these solos and weakened teams are just going to start being harassed.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of par for the course for the grand finals. Na'Vi, Twisted Minds, just steady as she goes. They're doing such a great job of getting into the late game, taking powerful positions, locking them down, knowing when to make their moves, when they can be safe. They're just absolutely
Вот,
brilliant.
смотри
Both
повтор.
teams, hats off
Внизу
to them,
как
the way
он
they're
склад
playing.
закрыл,
Yeah, still
один
still
этот
trying to hold
закрыл,
on. Nikos, see if he
Солянову.
can find any value. That's a good molly.
И
That's a
все,
good
и
knock.
сразу у них еще 2 или 3 очка
Now,
дали
what are
ему
you
за
gonna
то,
do
что
with
Солянову
this?
закрыл.
Orbital starting to come out, get the flush onto it. Every single point's going to matter right now. Sparking, looking in, you notice the fact that he doesn't have any helmet, so this is going to be a very dangerous set of plays coming out for him. Nico's going to just run in, quick spray between them, but Sparking is going to go down to the Molotov. Nico's just trying to get inside is going to go down as well. So with this, we have a straight lineup as everybody suddenly dropped. It is just Twisted Minds versus Na'Vi.
You love to see it. The 2 best from EU right now going head to head.
Русские, сука, команда остались.
Could make some serious damage to each other at the beginning of this. An example, well, a little bit, not much. And this is tough now for Na'Vi. They've got a little bit of hill to work with here, Matt. They can try to swing down to their south, but that's being really well covered by Twisted Minds. However, you know, you never know with Na'Vi. I mean, the firepower on that team is absolutely outrageous.
This is a game for Na'Vi to try to catch up to 17, but Twisted Minds wants this so badly because they can finally step in and maybe try to catch up to what's going on with Na'Vi. You know that there's a rivalry that's starting to brew between these guys. While they are close and they are friends, there is going to be, at the end of the day, who's going to walk away with it, and they both want it bad. Na'Vi back up against the wall, still just trying to cling to life as we are still in circle 7. Throwables now coming down, so with that high ground advantage, seeing if maybe they can hit it over the hillside, but doesn't connect.
Yeah, well, was that going to be enough space spot here for Na'Vi as now they're on their horse? They know they backed them off a little bit. They're going to start pushing up and over the hill. In fact, Batu's going to make a brief rotation here to change angles to get to safety.
Got to be so careful with this. Spyro now holding down a new angle with Batu. Reposition coming out from Twisted Mind. Next level, thinking these guys are making sure to reposition around. It's going to be Perfectix just right at the point to try to stall. Once any form of push comes out, that means that Na'Vi is going to have to deal with Perfectix and a 3-man team back behind this to spray down anybody that peeks over. Circle now favors Twisted Minds, but it's going to be Uba. He opens up the door. What can they do with it now? Trying to figure out if they're going to move up to the north or if they just want to continue the assault. Perfectix looks back down, does manage to get down Example. So a chase between the 2 of them still keeps it 3v3.
All right, Perfectix tries to get another up and over. Couldn't quite find it. Stun and go here. It looks like it's going to be the word. Perfectix takes a bunch of damage from Mel. This fight is so darn close. Both teams doing a ton of damage to each other. And a good spray from Spyro gets Uba.
finally getting a knock after a massive exchange of bullets. Everybody has to step away for a second as Twisted Mind still has the health onto this. Now being aggressive, Perfectix is going to go down. Lou still manages to get a knock as well. So Mel, the last one up, trying to see if maybe he can win this 1v2, but the zone is going to be coming in. He has got to figure out how he's going to navigate it. The press now starting to come up as Twisted Mind's trying to lean in. Information now coming up, and it's going to be Twisted Minds that picks it up.
Their third win of the grand
Квесты
finals,
забрали.
and a big hug here because they know how important this moment is.
Ну, они в зоне были.
Getting them pumped up, well deserved for Twisted Minds. A huge hold there at the end. I mean, Navi fought tooth and nail. Got to give them all the credit in the world. They made that really, really challenging for Twisted Minds, who definitely had a positional advantage.
They was so, that firefight that went on for like at least a good solid 10 seconds where there was just damage exchanged but nobody going down just shows how both of these teams understand exactly how to fight that close range.
I mean, it's just brilliant stuff. The reposition from Batu is a key moment in this. His ability to get out of there with that buggy, get behind a rock.
Ну да, нормально. И сейчас и твисты тоже догнали.
That kind of 3-1 split they had, relying on Perfectix, relying on his unbelievable raw firepower that he can put out, just beautifully handled by Twisted Minds.
I mean, we're seeing the usual suspects yet again, though, up at the top of it, still trying to survive. I also want to give a massive shout out to Akkad.
Yeah,
he had a good game. That was a big set of plays just to try to climb up that leaderboard. This is going to be wild as it feels like, yes, we might be starting to get a tighter race. Desk, where are we sitting there?
Well, we're sitting on the big two, continuing to chug down the pipe. Twisted Minds saw how 17 ended yesterday and was not interested in letting it stand as they come out and take an amazing match number one. My name's Hafiz. I am joined by Toby and Avenger as we break down the action, and it's more of the same.
It really is. The same three teams that sat here in the top coming into this day, continuing to rack up additional points, and in fashion too. 17 having to play on the edge, knowing exactly how to deal with that. And then when we see the two giants of VMEA go up against one another, it was impossible to call the victor until the final bull was shot.
And especially in this case here, Twisted Minds, they remembered the game that Navi had from these shanties here. They were like, we gotta get that. We saw Haolu drive-flying in, Lil Ghost taking it by force away from 17 Gaming. 17 Gaming obviously wanted this. They also remember the Navi game. Didn't it close, and we have some tendencies where we have some similar games. Didn't in exactly the same place, but still, with how all the settings are working and stuff, they know this is going to be such a power spot, especially from the... I'm impressed with Navi, though. I gotta say, they were able to hold jungle. There's so many points you can kind of enter that, and they were able to hold that, get in, and get all four members into the last fight.
The important thing about how they held jungle was the fact that they didn't really play jungle in the end of it. They sent two people or three people out to backfield. They leave Example alone. Solo player to try and maintain control of the entirety of Day Trade on the left-hand side. Really, really impressive playing coming through from start to finish. And then the push over the edge, in the end of it, almost brought it home.
And also, we got to give it to Xiaowu. Honestly, that wipe onto E United, that was insane. He was able to hold it down without that much cover, and they pushed in first one guy, then two guys, and they took all three of them down in the end there.
So congratulations to Twisted Minds as they come out with a big win, though I will say, for the second time in 6 games, we saw Navi push into second to first place, but doing so with almost no resources. I think we saw Mel at the end of that match had 5 rounds left in the chamber.
I mean, it's again one of those games where, yes, Navi get the circles towards jungle for a while, but they never take any fights early. They never take any fights in an area of the map where they can actually loot off of the kills they're given. So they shoot at everything, but never have a chance to really get looted back on up.
And while Twisted Minds does take the win, it is the usual suspects continuing to show up at the top.
Yeah, honestly, I love it when it's, the second and third spot fighting to try to catch on and latch onto that top and number 1 spot right now. Even though 17 Gaming, yes, they did well, it's the teams that we've been seeing all of yesterday continue to do extremely well here. Not that much damage coming from 17, but still, they were playing well into the northern side. They held on well to them, and then a huge clutch from Xiaowu to manage to get them top 4 and get them 4 spots of points.
Again, just to show off, even when 17 has what could for other teams be a bad game, they know we're coming in with one place to go. Everyone's going to know exactly where we're going, but that's not going to allow for us to let them take us down.
And we saw incredible plays. We'll take a look back at a little more of how that happened, but I want to dig a little deeper, give you guys a chance to explain something to me. When that circle popped, Navi was in the middle of it, and I heard you say it's the jungle, though. It's hard to play out of there. Why is that such a difficult process, and how did they do it the right way?
First of all, when you have jungle, there is so many kind of points of entry on the west side, on the south side, on the east side. You can kind of send a lot of players and teams up kind of on both sides. So even two teams, one on the east side, southeast side, one on the southwest side, can at the same time attack Na'Vi. They managed to defend well on the southeast side. They identified this is going to be where we're going to be expecting the most teams, and then they're going to be able to get out of the jungle on the eastern side and then get onto this fight and this high ground that they eventually fought Twisted Minds on here. Big shout out to Perfectix for being the front man, making sure he got a few knocks. Unfortunately, he did get flushed in the end, but yeah.
I mean, this is just the playstyle of Twisted Minds, right? Instantly want to see Perfectix lie up on that ridgeline. I think back to the game they win next to Los Leones against against Sonics in the group stages in a situation where Sonics pretty much had it, but there comes Perfectix up close over the hilltop to deal with them, and same thing here, doing so much damage before he goes down.
And 3 wins in 6 games here for Twisted Minds. It's insane. Almost back to back to back if it wasn't for the, the 9th place and 4 kills. Still insane. 3 out of 4 in a row. And to start the day like this is going to be super scary for all the other teams.
Well, let's take a look at the winner's focus and 4 pictures that we have been focusing on an awful lot in this grand final so far. Lou with 500 damage, but Perfectix, it's only 3 kills, but almost 800 damage. That means he's getting involved with everything.
Oh, no doubt. He is by far one of the heavy hitters on the team, and here is no different. Impressive to me, not only, of course, they come out victorious in the game, but how they play the mid-game when they try to maintain control of both Entropic initially, but then Day Trade as well. You can see they never overcommit to that fight down the valley. Even though, guys, we have 3 kills down here, they know we have a hungry 17 set on the hillside. Perfectix is the only player trying to maintain control of them, but they managed to deal with them anyway.
Let's check in with the overall leaderboard. 17 Gaming, despite the chicken dinner deficit, is still in first place with 80, and Twisted Minds won, but the gap continues to be difficult to close.
Yeah, it's difficult, but if they continue, it's going to be good. But still, only 1 point difference for Na'Vi and Twisted Minds right now. And it tells a huge story that you're able to still be in the lead despite of one team having won half of the games, Twisted Minds. Of course, 17 have won 2, but still the performance in the other games are just so on point. Their worst placement so far in 6 games is a 5th place with 3 kills.
I mean, the drop
that is insane.
The drop off
is
from
ridiculous.
3rd down through 5th is like that's a doubling of points. 6 games in. This is completely absurd.
I mean, this is terrifying for the rest of the teams. This is we're playing 4 days of matches, and after game 1 of day 2, 17 Na'Vi Twisted Minds, they're the boogeyman. I'm terrified of what they're going to do next.
And the other thing as well, right now, if you're looking at the right side of the leaderboard, right, every placement in the bottom is $5,000 extra. One good game, you could jump up $20,000, $30,000 just one game.
It does feel though you got those mid-tier. You don't want to be the best of the rest. You want to get that podium.
Just one
and
game.
To be honest, those 3 on top seem ungettable.
From 14th through 5th is 14 points.
Yeah, exactly.
That is an easy grab for a team coming off with a good game, and I mean, it's going to continue like this if we're going this way with the leaderboards going the way they are right now.
Let's see if it does, in fact, continue like this. We are going to head over to the bad lads of PUBG. It is Paper Thin and Matchroom.
Ты здесь, Сергей? Без перерыва сразу 2-я карта стартует.
Continuation, as you can see, crowd's starting to get wild. The players are also starting to get a little bit more of their vibe going. You can tell who's got the groove and who's starting to assert dominance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people expected that these 4 teams were all contenders that are at the top right now, and they have certainly proved it. And, as good as Twisted Minds have been, it's just 17 is, their firepower is so good. Like Avenger was talking about in the desk yesterday that, on Erangel, 17 was averaging like 12 points a game or something like that. On Miramar, it was like 4.3 or something. Now 17 Gaming is putting up points on Miramar. Now they're playing good on Miramar. I mean, 9 points for them.
Nice.
You'll take that every day. Every day of the week, you take a 9-point game if you can find it. Of course, you'd like to get bigger, but this has got to scare everybody because we go back to Erangel eventually. Today's 3 games of Miramar, 2 games Erangel, but the way that 17 is playing it's definitely got a lot of eyebrows raised in this lobby. You can see United tried to do something about it.
That's the whole thing is I was about to say, sure, okay. Getting 9 points a game, still going to be happy about it, but also getting a 1v3 against who's in 4th place.
It feels just, it feels good.
That one's some morale. You thought that they were confident beforehand. Now it's just going to get worse. I also do want to give a shout out to Mel as well, who's presently tied with Example for like 14 kills on Na'Vi. That puts him at 3rd and 4th.
Видишь, как капитан у них зелененьким
the firepower is
подсвечивается.
insane, and Alia is top 5 for damage right now for Na'Vi, along with Example. I mean, this team is just absolutely cracked. I mean, we all knew Uba, we all know
Капитаны, видишь,
Example.
зелененьким
These guys are just,
подсвечиваются.
absolutely insane, but Mel and Alia, no doubt about it, right there with them. So this is just
Нет,
a
вообще
phenomenal
человек
team,
сам
a beautiful
зелененький.
team to watch. Just the way that they are able to just
Подсвечивается.
instantly turn fights on their heads, just win fights cleanly and efficiently. You know, that end fight was a really challenging position for them, and they still made it extremely difficult for.
Just you don't even have a gun, buddy.
What is happening
if he,
here?
Oh, he closes the door. Can he at least get to a weapon? Nah. Okay, well. It is going to be Freaks that got the better side of it last time, but it's going to be Levi's that manages to pick up the first blood this time.
Well, that
Забрал
happened.
нахуй.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. That's just, you know, I have to
That's
assume.
the Freaks, man. That's all you can say.
Well, I mean, I have to assume that this is a coaching thing
Да,
where
и
they
просто со
said
слепой
this
нахуй.
compound's usually left open. Let's see if we can grab it. And in this case, it was not, and they paid the price for it. So, or maybe they thought the chute dropped. You know, they saw the parachute, they thought it dropped somewhere else. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Like you were talking about in the previous game, Akkad had a big one. Mel had a huge game. Nikos again with 5 kills. You know, even though Wildcard was not there at the end of the game, you know, they were still taking some good fights, some good damage in the kind of mid part of it.
I feel bad for the mid teams because they're actually keeping up a pretty decent points per game given everything that's going on. It's just, how do you deal with the insanity that these top teams are bringing out? This is just absolutely ridiculous, PPG.
Yeah, no, I like that you bring up points per game here because that's actually something that's been on my mind coming into today, is that typically if you're averaging around 10, 11 points a game in PUBG, you're probably winning the event.
You're
or at
dominating.
Least you're probably winning the event, if not really close in a fight for first. We've got 3 teams that are doing that right now, that are averaging more
Twisted
than that.
Minds is averaging what, 11 points per game and is holding on to 3rd.
Yeah, that's
That is
insane.
wild.
That is insane. That just like it doesn't happen very much, and so it just goes to show you the caliber of these teams, what it means to them, how hard they're fighting, how much prep they put in. It's beautiful. It's wonderful to watch. Like, I know, like, some people might be sitting here going, oh, well, you know, it's just like a 3 or 4 team race or whatever. This is awesome. I mean, to me, this is like the best of the best, showing you that they are the best and they are out for blood and they are out to prove it.
I also just want to point out, caster math can sometimes be good. That was off the top of my head. See, look, we're not always bad at the math.
Yeah, I mean, I don't often put my physics degree to good use, but every once in a while in cast it comes through.
Gonna go ahead and give us some, like, the physics on the bullet drop and everything else like that?
No, I can't explain that off the top of my head. I mean, I understand it when I shoot in the game, but I couldn't exactly tell you the exact dynamics. Like, I know about how far, for example, a Kar 98, you can, you know, aim right at the area you want before it starts to drop, before you have to start accounting for bullet drop, but I don't know the math on it.
How far can Kickstart go whenever he jumps off of this before he's going to fall to his death?
To the lobby.
To the lobby? Okay,
That's
gotcha.
how far you can go.
Hit that terminal velocity real quick. E United, just get information. This is where E United tends to have success, but we also see a high ground fight being very, very common between E United and 17. 17 just sometimes tends to get, well, I'd say more often than not, tends to get there first, and then really just asserts control onto it. And we often talk about the advantages in high ground and what you can do with that in PUBG, but the race is kind of starting to be on for those positions.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, teams are going to identify priority positions in a circle like this that's centered on Hacienda. They're looking for stuff around Hacienda, right? Like, because eventually this is going to have to remove the San Martin Mountains to the south of San Martin. Eventually those are going to get removed because of land ratio. Most of the time, not always. Again, I'm talking in, you know, what is likely to happen. You know, and we see circles end around Hacienda. There is some land ratio terrain around Hacienda proper, but
it just definitely prefers water treatment instead. Yeah.
It likes the area to the west of water treatment a little bit too much for my taste. But yeah, you're right. Absolutely. It's, you know, you rarely get circles inside of water treatment, but there can be some to the south to the west of it for sure. Danawa just you know, coming out of Chumasera up towards the northern edge. I mean, Danawa here is relying very heavily on kill points. I mean, they're a team that I think some people think could have maybe been one of those teams in the conversation. Cerberus, not again. They just got wiped by Na'Vi last game. And it's a bus. Oh my God.
Bang bus gets banged, but does spin back around onto it. 1 HP survival.
Are you kidding me, Salalzi? I mean, Uba just hit some absolute nasty shots in the opening of that, and Himas is actually going to get snagged away by Snakers. So Uba and Na'Vi here, it looked like they had Cerberus kind of trapped and dead to rights, but Hisaki has an angle onto Example.
Rolling through this one suddenly, Na'Vi not feeling too good off of it. United also realizing what's going on, using that high ground and absolutely trying to rein it in. Vengeance now trying to calm out. You got to be careful with those peaks. It's going to be Tycon. We know the fact that he can make some big plays. Can he pull it off? Goes for the spray, and he's going to go down. Does get some damage, but it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, I mean, Na'Vi might be able to stabilize here. They really want this res, but Hisaki tries to spray it down. He can't find any damage. That is going to at least prevent the res onto Example. A grenade is out. It's not going to catch anybody from Na'Vi as it went wide, and all of Na'Vi retreated to the safety of the indoors.
The dirge of Cerberus brings Na'Vi down to their level.
Not
expecting anything coming out of this one. So now Na'Vi going to have to make sure that they hold down and figure out what they can do. United still trying to exploit this high ground really is going to mitigate any movement, but we also do have a new contender, as it looks like Entropic is going to move over next to Hisaki and the chaos that Cerberus could bring.
I mean, United is just vibing up there. They are thrilled to watch this
сюда
fight.
почему
They
тоже
have no
подлетаю.
qualms with how this one is going down. To see Na'Vi going out, or not going out, but losing too early is definitely got them you know, licking their lips a bit as, you know, Snakers took some damage from, I have to assume that's TMA, out at the distance, because they're the only ones really that are in shooting range to the east. I mean, Wildcard is making an extremely wide wrap out east of El Azahar even. They're going to be not within a kilometer of anybody for a time, as, yeah, Entropic settled in, Hisaki on a rock, and Hisaki just has to try to find any points where he can get him. Clip is just nuts with the M4.
Overpeaker's getting a first kill on this one, and so we do have to point out that he is down as the trend does continue, but I have to give it to Overpeakers. They are still holding down 7th, even with this early casualty here or there. We were kind of talking about their damage control capabilities. They just know how to navigate these circles and find a way to scrap together some points.
Yeah, and I mean, we all know that the Overpeakers are going to be disbanding as a team after this event, but still, I think there's so much potential there with their players, and like you're saying, I mean, if they just could kind of stabilize in the early game a little bit, they could be making a real run for things.
I mean, you name yourself Overpeakers. Don't you have to kind of commit to it?
I mean, it felt like they did at the beginning of the event. Like, they put up some huge days at the very beginning. Just absolutely pop it off.
Good. If you're overpeaking, that means that you're getting shot, right?
Well, I mean, I suppose. I guess I'd have to go back and look at their damage taken numbers to see if they really are living up to their names or not.
They've got kind of this area down to the south, just to the west of La Bendita. Most other teams look like they're starting to get
Будет тяжко, но ничего же. Сколько сделаю теперь?
Is starting to get some more love as another team is going to move in, as that means that within about 400 meters, we now have Cerberus, Na'Vi, Entropic, question mark, and United.
Yeah, it should quiet up here for a little bit. There is a little bit of scuffling.
Хуй знает, где в зону, в каких ебенях будет, блядь.
Kind of around United because of their high ground, but there isn't a lot going on here.
I gotta pour one out for everybody that has Smell on their fantasy team with the change out that's happened right here. So, I know he was cheap, and I know a lot of people were leaning on him so that way they could pick up some of the more expensive people. So, I feel your pain. It happened to me over at Nations Cup. But now looking in, next circle is going to be popping in just a few seconds.
Yeah, I mean, putting him on your fantasy team just didn't smell right to me.
Oh man, that's I'm not even. Gonna,
I think I heard somebody groan in the crowd.
I'm not even going to give you anything for that one. That one, that's like I usually go for some low-hanging fruit.
Well, I got to compete with you in toffees, man. Like you guys are definitely all about the bad
Wait,
puns.
I'm finally in toffees category.
You're getting close. You're not there. You're trying, but he's in a league of his own.
It is true. Dropping now, moving in more as we still keep Minas Generalis. We do have Death Star Trench into the north that's in play. So this area is being... I really like seeing fights over here. As Na'Vi, I don't know if you're going to really like this fight. It's going to be happening over here. It's looking in, seeing if maybe they can survive through. One goes down, and now it is just Mel in a bad spot. And Na'Vi is going to get eliminated.
Okay. I mean, that's, you know, everybody... below them is definitely smiling in 17 as well. So one of our heavy threats out early. Snakers and E-United still in the center of this, so they're going to have all the information in the world. But this 2-2 split, it does become a little bit worrisome for me here Matchroom, and maybe even this circle, depending on how aggressive teams want to get, if they can recognize that it's 2 members separated.
17 is also coming into Minas. This is, this is everything that I could potentially want here in just a second. Also, Twisted Minds, they came into this 1 point behind Na'Vi, and while Na'Vi did manage to pick up 2 kills, that means the fact that Twisted Minds, now paying attention to that kill feed, has a massive opportunity, and they know it.
Yeah, precisely. This is just a difficult game for Na'Vi, where I think they felt like they had a comfortable trap set on top of Cerberus and they were going to be able to spring, but Cerberus was able to turn it off on its head with a little help from United. That Na'Vi trying to play recovery and just kind of had to make a... He's still alive.
All right, I give it to you. Does the Molotov at least get his kill? There you go, Hisaki. Pick up whatever you can.
There it is. I was going to say, I'm amazed he got out from behind that rock that he was stuck behind. That is some expert ratting.
And I'm going to remind everybody, I mentioned this going back a while ago, E-United and High Ground, they know how to exploit it, and they are trying their hardest, already picking up 2 kills.
Yeah, these are the positions that United, I think, plays better than anyone in the world that I've seen. When they can get on those really extreme high ground positions in the, in the center of the circles. And I mean this, everybody would say, oh, that's easy. You're up on the high ground, you can just shoot at people for days. Well, I've seen a lot of teams that don't do so well from it. They're not really able to capitalize on their knocks as well, and they're not able to find those flushes. Yeah, they do damage, but they maybe don't get the points. So the way that United also converts their damage into points from positions like this has oftentimes impressed me a lot.
Best logo in PUBG Esports now trying to make their run into the circle as Yoho does manage to navigate and get past FaZe. It looks like they're going to be stopped by Danawa, who's holding both sides of Death Star Trench, both north and south. That's interesting.
Best logo in all of esports, Matchroom. Best logo in all of esports.
I love it.
No doubt. I did see a bolt in
Ладно, комментирую, сейчас я подойду.
Danawa there, so Danawa looking like they cut loot a
надо
little bit
отойти
early to try
минут
to
на
get
3.
ahead of these rotations, but it's a 2-2 split for them. Northern side of the circle nestled right next to the Freaks, or the 2-1 split of the Freaks. FaZe coming in late as kind of is the more usual FaZe that we're used to seeing here, coming with the blue on the edge. Wildcard starting to gain a little bit of territory. Twisted Minds going for the pre-rotate, looking to try to get ahead of the next circle. And it goes right on top of these mountains. I can't believe this. This is just so much land ratio terrain in here.
This is very, very wild. I was kind of joking about wanting Minas, but this is a circle I can get behind. We've got a lot that's going to be happening. And I do want to point out, I think that some of these teams are trying to move into E-United's territory, and they were wanting to try to get some of this high ground, but they're having to do that salvage down into Minas. You can see Twisted Minds did rotate into that and now moving away. And Tropics is going to be playing the eastern side, rotating by it. And it's going to be FaZe. It's going to be running right up next to the Expendables, as it looks like they don't want to have too much to do with this one stepping out. And they found themselves a compound in Ninja 2K. I don't know if you can pick up 2K or if you're going to be the K.
Well, okay, 777 here to help, and the reinforcements are arriving, but they are going to shut 777 down. Diggory now his turn to go down. Duckjuice saving the day. Duckjuice actually got the flush as well, and he just riding on in, seeing if anyone's around the corner. 8-seat with the M4, the only one left now for FaZe, has a gun available. A little bit of damage chunked into him. Grenade going to be out, and 8-seat in a world of trouble.
I thought FaZe had this fight under control, but it is gone all kinds of wrong. Hey, you at least managed to knock him in the end. Moral victory.
Moral victories. Oh, yeah, absolutely. That grenade, that...
Twisted Minds. Oh, you're really going to do him like this, aren't you?
Oh, this is brutal. I mean, that grenade from 8-seat just opened the door for Twisted Minds to third party this. They're throwing a grenade into the smoke. Levi's, though, I think around the back corner, so he's not going to take any damage. You do have the res onto Ninja 2K, so Duckjuice doing a ton of heavy lifting, and they have to take care of Spyro on the back.
There's a lot of throwables that are coming out right now, not getting too much return just yet. Ninja 2K now saying, hey, I'm in this position, and Levi's is going to go ahead and get flushed. The Expendables now looking like they're going to be feeding the beast that is Twisted Mind to try to catch up to Na'Vi.
Oh, that grenade should be pretty good. Yeah, it does a lot of damage there to Ninja 2K. He's going to have to reposition. Can Perfectix find the knock with the follow-up? Indeed, he can. It's actually Petulant who's got it. Duckjuice, the only one left here. He might catch one. No, what a spin there from Perfectix. Absolutely nasty flick.
God, Twisted Minds knows what's up. Now tied up with Na'Vi and in the lead with a nice set of points.
I mean, this is what the best teams do. They capitalize when other teams are in bad positions and make the most of it. And again, that 8-seat grenade was a death knell for TE. Lulu always tried to pick that point up, but it's actually going to be James from Overpeakers who's going to find it. So wild card, 2 members alive, 1 out in the open, 1 in the house, and a lot of Yoho and Overpeakers watching them.
So it's now going to be coming in. This is outside, so we're going to have to figure out what they're going to do. Yoho's going to move ahead of it. Adam's right along the path. Throwing out a trap there, seeing if maybe he can get something by setting down the fuel can, I believe. As now, Adam, what are you going to do? Yoho wants to try to take you down, and they've got the numbers.
Yeah, this is tough. Sparking taking a bit of damage. They're going to have to go for the heal. Greg shot trying to cover the exits. There has been the knock up onto the hill, so now Yoho trying to scramble to finish this fight. See if they can get the res onto Shinboy. Balefrost, really important push here to finish the job.
This needs to end fast because TMA is coming into this one. They heard that firefight going on for so long. Yoho does win it, but now what can Lulu do is now Lulu is going to be moving into a good position to be able to gatekeep out to a weakened team that is now going to be crawling into this one outside in the blue after a fight.
Yeah, they had to let Shinboy go. Phase 4 blue gets there, and if you're rezzed in that blue, you can't heal through it. A great spray from Lulu, always a Chow High. Oh boy, just absolutely slaughtering Yoho.
James now coming over to see if maybe he can pick up something, but I don't know if you want to go too far into this one. I think that Overpeakers realizes that they could have some high ground advantage, but they need to be careful. They might be cresting this and just giving away their heads if they're not paying too far attention. As UP, I don't know if he can see him just yet.
Yeah, you can see that TMA is trying to retreat in the southern direction. OP maybe seeing if they can pick someone off on the exit path, and James has pushed enough that he's seeing the vehicles. Can he really capitalize on it is the question. He's got to be careful not to be seen here, or else, TMA might have just turned on. The timing's perfect. The timing's perfect
trying to drive away, and it's just Overpeakers on foot, just chase them down.
The timing, though, from James is really good. They're not going to hear him. They didn't see him. Here's the drive-through by Duck Juice, and just absolutely masterful.
Could have shot into the second story, and if that would have happened, I would have probably passed out.
I mean, that would have been absolutely nuts. He still did a phenomenal job here. So here's the 8C spray. He goes for the grenade. He sees one. Oh, they're on both sides of him.
Yeah.
He lets it go as he's dying, and it bounces right in the middle of a couple of players. Oh, he comes out the window. Oh, they never heard or saw that grenade.
With my last breath, I stab at thee.
That feels bad for TE. That's just one of those ones that, it never got accounted for or never got calmed. It might have just never been spotted, period. Definitely wasn't by Levies, and that's the end of that. Kwangdong Freaks, 1 player down. A lot of space in front of them. A lot of, kind of hilly area in here. Again, this is a part of the map you don't get to see too much PUBG Esports because those hills or the plateaus that we saw United on earlier, which they are still on, are land ratioed. So typically circles don't like to go around here that often. We'll see exactly where this one's going to end. It's going to be a fun ending for sure.
Yeah, if this goes to the north, it's going to be crazy. If it goes to the south, we get Minas and all the complexity of the building fights there and random holes all over the place. That's really just going to be a map study. Hey, do you know all of the peak points in Minas? Because that's going to turn a lot of fights.
Yeah, do you hot drop Minas when you play pub games? Because that'll come in real handy there. Lambu still at the bolt for Donawa, but a ton of pressure from a couple different angles as he tried to peek that hill. Meanwhile, TMA now under the purview of QM and Overpeakers, and they gotta go. They gotta get out of this.
Still making the push in. TMA is gonna hop back in their vehicles and just go. And Tropic couldn't quite quit into a firing line for him, but it's trying to take the shots. Instead, it's gonna be QM that they're looking into. Overpeakers, after their chase, is not gonna be rewarded too much, and now looks like they might be leaning back into the north. This clip is gonna see what's going on with the Freaks and Danoa in the fight that's gonna be happening into the north up there. TMA does try to make themselves into a shack, but it is gonna be the Entropic line that is putting in some work.
Yeah, TMA had to scramble out, but Entropic was already ahead and did some more damage. Now looking for the res onto Shao Hai. These 2 longtime veterans here, Shao Hai and Crazy, playing for, Shao Hai playing for the team that won the original PGI. Crazy used to be on 4AM. Very, very good players in their own right. Donawa having to try to punch through Kwangdong Freaks and then maybe even Overpeakers next. They've already got a COD down, and that's a big piece of the puzzle. E-End as well, one of the top fraggers in his region. Trying to push forward. Well, the clip helps out.
Going to go ahead and get that flush pretty cleanly, as this is just going to be a defensive line holding back for all of Overpeakers, waiting to see what's going to be moving in front of them. Lash still just trying to stay alive, but he's not going to be able to live too much longer. As Clip does pick him up. And now, what are you going to do from here, Overpeakers? Danoa looks like they might be moving in, as Overpeakers now going to firmly just reinforce here, and it looks like they see the capability for some kill points, and they're going for it.
Yeah, you can see that Danoa is trying to find space, but it's not being given by the Overpeakers. James has a great angle. That's one knock. Can he find another? No. Has to switch switch over to the mini. Should have Salute dead to rights. Yes, finds the headshot. Just Helen left for Donawa.
Overpeakers knows what they're good at, and they're going to do it. The firefight is where they're going to excel. Helen now the last one up. About to be no more Donawa left in this lobby. That smoke's not going to do anything except for just stall out what's going on. Bart doesn't even care. He's just flushing out everything. He knows he's got so much support. Bart's got to finish it out. Donawa gets eliminated, and now Overpeakers pretty much has control of the north of the circle, except for maybe where E United can see them, but can they get away in time? And it does look like they can crest that hillside.
Yeah, those are still really, really long-range shots that have to be taken, especially because they're high up. That adds a little bit of distance there. Now 17 is pushing into the remnants of TMA, and I don't think they know they're there. Xiao Wu just cleaned up instantly by Xiao Hai. Crazy starts throwing out more smokes. You know, for TMA now, it's delay, delay, delay. Try to get as deep into this as you can.
Ghost Man now in a close range fight. Gonna spot out one. Does get knocked. Good shot coming up from Crazy. Is he gonna go for the flush on this one? Yes, he is. Very, very quickly. Just gonna support after. Now, jump back down. Looks like going for the res. 17 starting to get picked apart. Multiple angles. Twisted Minds also here's what's gonna be going on. Day Trade also coming in here. Overpeakers now making a push in. Do manage to get a spot over into the north. That does mean that E United has to pull some of their attention away, but really nobody is fighting outside because they can't due to E United's positioning.
Yeah. That's a good grenade from Perfectic. Show is on his knees at 17. He's trying to stay alive, and this Twisted Minds made a wide rotation after the fight with the Expendables into the southern part of the city, and they are storming their way through. Belmont has been knocked as well. Batu trying to hold underneath, and it is going to be good. That is going to be the end of 17. Flash is going to come in and help.
QM now has an angle into the east, looking at what's going to happen. See, like they're trying to take some shots into E United, but they just cannot find it cleanly. With the peculiarities of what's going down into Minas, you can see the kickstart doesn't even have a good sight line into this. They can take some shots and at least force some teams away, but the longer this goes on, the more difficult it is for them to really see what's happening. Overpeakers also taking some shots back behind E United, but it's not going to stall anything that's happening. Really, the story is going to be about how Day Trade and Twisted Minds handle what's going on and how Question Mark moves into the circle.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is going to have to start moving south eventually, the circle, just due to the land ratio. And now QM is trying to set up on the steps to the east, and they're leaving Hobbits to cover this rotation. Overpeakers, well, this is rather difficult with the angle that Entropic has with E United up on the high ground ahead of them. As great as a job as they did against Donawa there, that little reposition they did in that fight was super smart and caught Donawa totally off guard, but it's neither here nor there as they are just trying to keep one of the teams at bay and hoping that they can make a maneuver. They've got some smoke, and a hardtop Murado sitting in the back. It's just a matter of finding the timing and the space.
Yeah, take a couple of shots at Snakers, maybe force him into a new angle on it. But I think E United senses the fact that Overpeakers is going to be moving soon. They've sent a good defensive flyer. Good, strong line now looking in. Snakers going to get some vision on this. The rotation comes out. Do manage to navigate through it. Overpeakers gets right below E United.
Yeah, this is their only option, is to get so close to United that they can't really peek down on top of them, but they might have bit off more than they could chew. They tried to cut the engines to surprise United, but there's some fire here from Clib, who gets knocked by Ibis, though.
Yeah.
So now that back anchor isn't there for Overpeakers.
Clib was supposed to stay back, protect, deny any peek, and it's going to be Entropic that just ruins the plans that Overpeakers were trying to do. Entropic now starting to make a foot push into this. Nail Up looks like he realizes, hey, we can use this to maybe dethrone what's going on with E United. As Overpeakers just surviving here. That Molotov isn't going to spread far enough. James clinging to life as he clings to the hillside.
Yeah, this is a lot of utility having to be invested by United. Finally, Relo going to find the double headshot onto James to take him out, and that's pretty good. Yeah, Entropic is trying to now usurp the throne, the high ground hill from E United.
Meanwhile, down in the depths of what's going on in Minas, it's just back and forth. Day Trade trying to survive, but it's going to be Perfectix that gets the drop onto him, and suddenly Day Trade goes out, and it's going to be Question Mark now making a push, realizing where Twisted Minds is positioned.
I mean, Twisted Minds is just absolutely so good. They're patient. Their coordination is next level. A doozy here tries to go up the hill, but he's going to get cut off from behind. Perfectix initially can't find the angle. Bullets would have hit that stairwell in front of him. Maddie tried to go for the shots. Phil first up and over. Gets a good grenade onto Batu. That might be the door open here for QM.
But it's Perfectix. Don't forget about TMA also hearing this firefight. They might move down, get some high ground, looking down into it, but then it's going to be E United that's stopping him out. Circle does shift, and it's going to go into Entropic's direction. E United still keeps some of their hill in, but this fight around Minas is about to get really difficult as everybody's going to have to move in at TMA.
I truly am shocked at this circle. I have never seen one end this close to that high ground. No, I love it, but I've never seen it happen. It is absolutely wild how close it is to land ratio. Terrain You can see Twisted Minds trying to find the ability to get this res off. Lou's going to use a grenade to try to find Hobbits. Is that going to connect? No, Hobbits is stuck underneath those stairs. No way that's hitting him. And, you know, for now, QM can hold on. Still TMA, by the way, in this one. They have managed to survive for quite a long time.
Just clinging to life in a position that's about to be pretty contested. Question Mark can't move too much as looks like Reload is trying to stretch, and that's going to go ahead and get down flush. Tropic's position is now revealed. Rest of E United now trying to look down this hillside. 3 members on a Tropic right now as it's going to be Lucarex playing back behind this one, taking the shots in, see if maybe he can stall out or maybe get a knock on anybody that's going to be looking down on his team.
Yeah, now Kickstart taking a bit of damage from a grenade and then some shots to follow, and he is going to have to back up. QBE trying to see if he can guess where he moved to. It's just a little bit too far. It was so close.
That was almost a 3-pointer, but the Flood, I do want to point out, has now abandoned the high ground and is moving in. Looks like they've realized that they can move down into this position, maybe pick up a couple of more kills. Flood also playing a more safety position, might be able to third-party what's going on in this fight a lot cleaner. So while we do see Entropic that's gotten control over the northern part of the circle, Question Mark has already moved in very close to TMA's positioning, and a very split E United is trying to figure out where they want to focus in at.
Wow, Perfectix just right away pops around that corner, takes Hobbits out. Now the smokes and the stuns are coming through crazy, catches a doozy completely off guard, and just like that, Twisted Mind has 5 kills. QM just holding on by 1 player, and they are just wrapping around this southern edge.
Phil First has nowhere to go that is even close to being comfortable, just kind of juking through everything. Lucarex finally gets a vision of what's happening here, but it's going to be crazy that does manage to get the kill onto Question Mark. Now, this is just going to be special is the only thing I can say.
This is wild. This is one of the wildest finishes I've ever seen in PUBG Esports. I mean, a lot of players still alive, a ton of terrain to work with, a little bit of hard cover and some buildings on the edges of this circle. It is just
Ну, твисты они и показывали, как на этой карте они вылазят из жопы. Когда нам в отборе.
For the side of
Нет.
Entropic, I think they would have a really good shot, but this
Я
opens up a
отвечаю.
ton of space for Twisted Minds to
Завтра
stay
работку
underneath the
купила.
sightlines of E United briefly. Kickstart didn't see them making that wrap to his left, so this gives Twisted Minds a lot of space to work with, and as we have seen multiple times throughout this tournament, they are damn good when they get it.
There's a small amount of that hillside that
Ну, они
United still has,
показывали.
but that is just a near-on death trap if they stay there. Twisted Minds
Уже
already moved
показывали на
down
этой карте.
into those lower-rised positions. Flood's been spotted out.
Бля, они
And
почти
it's just
в топе.
TMA is holding this position so well, given the amount of threats that they've had come after them.
No, I mean, all the credit in the world to TMA. They have played this game really, really well.
Они,
In
видишь,
fact, even
походу
Crazy
решили
switching to
подержать
Saiga here,
топчик.
as he knows this one is going to be likely very up close and personal, and the barrel
Там
good enough at
и
any
на
range,
скоро смотрю,
any range of
прыгают
fight that
вниз
he's going
на.
to find himself in. You can see Entropic knows they need to try to wrap around to Lucarux's position. It looks like they are actually going to be able to get the res here, even though Twisted Minds got underneath. They couldn't push any further forward.
TMA now moving ahead of Entropic, so Entropic's going to
Они
have to come
будут своего
around that
поднимать.
eastern side. It looks like they do get the res back into 4, means the fact that they're going to have to deal with some threats. While this is happening, res also going to happen with E United, and suddenly TMA finds themselves in a very... I love the setup that TMA is holding. Sure, that's one spot, but no, the pipe spot is where it's really going to be just wild. I want to see somebody try to push into this, and I love the fact that Twisted Minds is smart enough to go, no, there is no way I'm going into that death trap.
They're just too smart. I mean, that's why they are consistently, you know, finishing in the top 3 at global events. Why they're winning PCSs in EU. They're just some of the best in the business, if not the best right now. And the way that this hill is shaped, they could very well win this game potentially if they're able to lock this down, because the final circle, the final middle spot is pretty close to that final step towards that last plateau. So if they can lock it down, it's just a matter of how much damage these high ground teams are going to be able to do before they're forced down off of it.
This is just absolutely crazy. Entropic on one hillside, just taking the shots into E United that's been trying to hold this high ground. Twisted Minds down below, taking some shots into Entropic. We have TMA listening to everything, figuring out how they're wanting to navigate what's about to happen. They hear the shots coming out, but really, it almost looks like a west versus east situation where we have Twisted Minds that are going to be taking the shots into Entropic, but it's going to be E United also looking down into TMA.
This is wild. I mean, EU, they might just no, they're sacking it. Yeah, they're sacking it. I mean, they had no hope. When they drop down, they're going to either die or take a ton of damage to the point where one bullet will knock them out. So United has to deny. Grenades are going to start raining down from Entropic. This is their moment. If Entropic is going to win this game, they're going to have to do some serious damage here.
Twisted Minds has control over that low ground. Now moving in, TMA could backstab at any given moment. Entropic just wants to get a knock. They need to find some way to get this more under control. QBE looking into perfection. Perfectix, but it's going to be Naylup that gets it down onto Perfectix, and now it's going to be Twisted Minds trying to do some type of damage control. The smokes are out. It is so hard to see down there, but the zone's coming in. It's going to do so much damage to a Tropic. What are they going to do? Crazy still looking around. Team A knows exactly where they want to go, but they can't figure out how to get there.
And you can see there's a bolt action here for Xiao Hai. He might be able to put this to good use if he sees that head from Ivis. He might get the knock. Wasn't able to pull the trigger there that time around, just missing. Lucarux trying to work his way down step by step. Lou waits underneath. What a brilliant rotation from him. And now Xiao Hai starts spraying him down.
Trying to get anything off of this one. It is going to be Crazy that gets the knock, as well as Lucarux going down with this now. And Tropic is just going to be going out. TMA still holding the angle onto the side of this one, but it's going to be Twisted Minds realizing what's going to be going on, but they only have Spyro up. He's just holding the line, waiting for it. Does get the knock on, dude. 1v1, goes for the spin grill, and he manages to get it.
Unbelievable. What a hold from Spyro. What a hold from Twisted Minds. Back-to-back games to start the day, and Twisted Minds are looking to really run away with the day. That is absolutely insane. What a hold, what a play. Tough position there in a way at the end with the way that Entropic and United had some high ground on them, but they weather it. They send Lou close enough to the edge to make sure that he stays alive. Some really smart, good maneuvering throughout that game by Twisted Minds, as we've all come to expect.
17, sorry, this trophy ain't yours yet. Twisted Minds wants it, and this is a hungry team with so much potential.
And this was a bad game for 17. 0 points in this one. So they, this kind of is that old bad Miramar rearing its ugly head. Now that being said, this is a very bizarre circle in a very bizarre situation. So 17 got caught up with the TMA, remnants here at the end who almost win this game. But Spyro's so smart, knows exactly where they are. They're not able to get the trigger down in time, and Spyro is well aware and well waiting for them to push around that corner.
That is just such an absolutely amazing game. This is what I want from PGC. Let them have to fight through it. Twisted Minds had to work through so much to get there. I can't even map it all out. I'm gonna have to throw it over to Toffees just to give us an idea on how they even got to that circle.
7 games and 4 of them are chicken dinners for the Monsters from Europe. It is a huge win from Twisted Minds, and they are doing what we've never seen before, setting a pace that seems uncatchable. My name's Toffees. I am joined by Toby and Avenger here on the desk to break down the genius that is Twisted Minds.
I'm completely mind-blown by the fact that they come out victorious here. They have to crawl their way through, slaughter their way through Minas, up against 2 teams which each their high ground positions, and yet they managed to stall for long enough to force them off the mountains, and Spiro claims it in the end. That is, that is completely insane.
They had to fight against the rat nest that was TMA, the gargoyles that were United, the sky drops that were Entropic, and through it all, they outsmarted and outplayed everyone on the field.
And honestly, with a wild circle like this here, there's so much unexpected things that can happen, and them being able to wrap this up. They were on the northwest side for a long time. They did not have any circle up. They played proactively through all of it, and they had to fight their way through the very end. And then to win a 1 versus 2 versus TMA, that's insane.
Here's that moment where Spyro comes out and has to make the hard 1v2, and he does it in style. He saw that grenade fly over his head and knew it was the right time to push. That's experience showing through.
Whatever leads 17 had coming into today is now gone for sure. As I said on the before there as well, no points coming through for 17 this one.
28 smokes
and 21
grenades.
21 nades.
When you third-party 2 teams that almost died, then you're able to pick up something like 6 or 7 bodies worth of grenades. You're gonna have that amount.
But the amount of smokes they use is also a testament to how much they have to stall.
Right.
How much they knew. We cannot just jump in on it now. We cannot just take the fight now. We have to wait until they come down from the hillside. And they were surviving the barrages for 2 circles in a row to then take the fight in the end.
28 smokes is a lot. 21 frags as well. Just an ode to their ability to zone control and make sure nobody comes anywhere near them. They really did force a lot of other teams to make hard decisions before they ever had to get involved.
So experienced with how the terrain works, even in circles that we've almost never seen before. It's a testament to the experience and to knowledge about how to play these exact moments right here.
That's a fascinating point. It's not every day that we see Mount Minas come into play. I mean, this is a rarity at this level.
Oh, quite the contrary. I mean, the fact that we have phase 4 pretty much center on the mountaintop itself and then force players to pick a side from where they're going to play from, then get the even harder shift, I would argue, into half mountain, half Minas, see the onslaught there, and then again, for Twisted Minds to come up victorious. That is, it's not the team when you see that phase 4 or phase 5 pub that you would think would have won that game.
Insane. All the guys are running no helmets, broken vests, everything. Having an M24 in this situation for Xiao is insane. Also, fantastic shots. Love myself some boldy shots right there. Twisted Minds, though, 21 points here, Toffees.
And we saw that, remember, even after the last game when Twisted Minds got that chicken, 17, still had a pretty good lead. But the fact that they left that door open, they went out number 8, they did not put up any points, is going to cause a lot of trouble, I think, for them, because Twisted Minds, not only are they now going to be right there neck and neck for the win, but they clearly have the momentum.
And the fact that they in this game could apply as much pressure as they did, you see the damage come through. It's not overwhelming numbers, but that's because they never really had to shoot at that many people. What they did was use the utility, hold the angles, and even pre-fire for the longest time, just to make sure that you do not peek us, because they were out in the open. They were on the ridgeline, and everyone sat up on those mountains above them. They knew we're easy pickings, but we have to keep suppressing.
The beauty of PUBG is that sometimes it's important. You have to be just as smart as you are trigger skilled, and these guys have shown just their mastery of strategy, sort of in a very stark, I think, comparison to, say, Na'Vi just coming in and punching everyone in the face. Is a very different style.
Yeah, you can definitely attest to that, and Petulian's definitely one of the cleverest IGLs out there. But guys, the total leaderboard now changes just a little bit. Twisted Minds jumps in the top.
Twisted Minds, the first thing I'm seeing here, Twisted Minds just claim win number 4. They have 40 placement points.
Yeah,
All their placement points are wins.
Yep.
That's
That is
true.
completely insane.
So they are doing a wonderful job. On the other hand, 17, who walked away with nothing in the last match, still managed to cling on to that second place. Na'Vi close. E-United does continue to sort of hold on to the coattails, but again, it came down to what we saw in that circle. They had a good spot, but it was impossible to play out of.
It's rough because what they wanted an escape route on the northern side, and Entropic, they countered that by playing on the northern side, making sure they had to stay up there, and that's exactly what Entropic was hoping for in that situation. They got one opening knock, United lost one, they had to kind of fall back and try to continue to have as much as damage as they could and as much, of course, kills that they could get from up there. 4th place still, though, very honorable for them.
And I'm glad you gave a shout out to Entropic. They capitalized on OP's push. They moved into a good spot and played very well in that game. Guys, we have a couple left. That's 2 down, 3 to go. When we come back, we're going to wrap up Miramar with one more match in the desert. So don't go anywhere.
So now I'm in the pool area of the first floor of the Expo Village, and over there is a gym where the players work out regularly. Let's go. Okay, so I'm here in the gym, and I see some players over there working out. Hello, Bunny.
Hello.
Wow. Wow. Oh, wait. What's the weight?
Not high.
Okay. Oh, there's Uba too. Wow. Wow. You were the 2 players who are working out in the gym. You usually work out regularly?
Of course, I have a passion for working out. I'm always in the gym.
What's your favorite?
Definitely the leg press.
Yes, hello.
Chilling. Yeah, get that
Do
pumping.
you work out? Ah, did you? Ah, you say you like to do the leg press. Okay, thank you for coming. Okay. You wanna go out and...
Bye, guys.
Let's go too. Let's go. So we're here with the 2 players who have advanced to the grand finals from the winners bracket.
I'm Punij, the IGL for Team Yahoo.
I'm Uba, player for NATO Windsor.
Congratulations for advancing to the grand finals. Well, Na'Vi, you were maintaining the first place for like 2 days. How do you feel?
I mean, it matters nothing, like being in the first place until it's like grand final position, so I don't care.
Back, it's Na'Vi with 3 wins in a row.
You two advanced to the grand final. So did you know what the situation was like when you were left alone. Like you're contender to the 8th place, the CES Logi died, and you were alone. And did you know that the 2 kills, you needed 2 kills, or you would just clutch?
I didn't know exactly how many points I needed, so I didn't know that I had, but I knew it was close. Yeah, so I was obviously just getting as many points as I could, but when I died, I didn't think we got it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought we needed 1 or 2 more points.
8? We're in 8th? Win in 8th?
So this team Navi, 3 players have played together for a while. Uba just joined the team.
We started like pretty quickly, like to play good with each other. It like took 1 week for me to adapt for the team's playstyle, and after that just develop this ability like to understand my teammates. As long as we communicate with each other in the game, we're gonna show good results.
Who do you think is the ace of the Navi?
Example, I think he's young, he's like very good mechanically, and like he's a smart player.
What about you? You're like the god.
I'm just waiting for grand finals. I don't care about group stage.
We're gonna show off in the grand finals.
For sure.
Okay. What team could be the biggest rival for each of your team?
For me, it's probably OP. I hate James. He's gonna be running around the map and like trying to kill me.
Okay. So, but do you want them to advance
Definitely
to the
not.
grand final?
No.
It's a vision, and Cleveland's going to go down, and it's going to exchange over. Bleakers get it with the last bit of the 1v1.
I hate James.
What about you?
Probably wild card. Because of how they play in North American scrimmages.
Your like playstyle is similar, or
No, not at all.
so you don't want them to come to the grand final, or do you want to
that'd be
compete
good
with
for
them?
us.
It's a kill point.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start the quiz time then. You're like our last guest, so we have to give all. Do you want to give all
nice.
the gifts? So,
For free?
just a minute. So we're gonna play a really difficult sound quiz.
Okay.
Like 5 guns.
Okay.
If you get it right, we're gonna give you all the gifts.
Okay.
Okay, it's a team play, so you
Okay.
can each listen to it
Okay.
and get it right. Okay. Put on the headphone. I'm gonna play the sounds. You can pick up some and you can. No.
I mean, there's Uzi for sure. Suppressed.
Uzi?
Suppressed Uzi.
Okay. That you
should
got
be-
it right. 1.
Coming down.
Okay, there's a PP Bison, and there's a suppressed bolt.
Mosin suppressed as well.
I would guess Mosin if not
Mosin.
M24.
No.
2 more. 2 more. Do you know our slogan?
BS get the throne. Yeah. Ace. There is ace.
Is there an ace?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Oh, suppressed S12K?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you got it right. It's all for you. All for you guys.
50-50.
Yeah, 50-50.
And I have 2 of them. So
Okay.
I'll just mine.
Okay, so are you gonna share it with your teammates or something?
No.
Think about
No,
it.
it's all yours?
They could get like this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Could have
You have
that.
2?
For the finals, obviously, we're just gonna aim to like show our best performance, do as well as we can, especially because of how important these global events are for PUBG. Should be good next year.
For us, like supporting our team and yeah, be the ace, get your throne.
Okay. PGC 2022.
Navi.
Yahoo!
Fighting! So we've met various players competing in PGC 2022 here in Quiz on Rock contents, but now it's time to say goodbye. We're gonna come back with another contest next year, and stay tuned till the end to find out which team will be the ace and get the throne of the PGC 2022. Bye bye!
paper, paper, paper. This is what I want from my PGC. I want more of it. I'm just over here still dancing around, still excited. We have ourselves a race. 17 just doesn't get to walk away with it by themselves.
No. I mean, Twisted Minds is absolutely on one right now. And, you know, already winning this many games, it's incredible. It is a feat. I've never seen anything quite like this in a moment like this where a team is able to win 4 of the first 7 games. Just absolutely disgusting what they're able to do. And the way they navigate these games is just so smart. They're so well calculated, so decisive. I mean, again, we talk about it all the time with this team. And now this may be their moment. You know, as much as we've talked about how this is the final act for show, this is, you know, such a important moment for 17 that they may finally break through and win a big event. But, you know, for the side of Twisted Minds, yeah, they've won, you know, PCS as an EU and things like that, but they've never won a global, and they want to put that in their trophy case.
There is a lot of emotions that could be going on in Twisted Minds just due to the history, world events, all this other stuff, the culmination of things that they've had a lot of things that they've had to overcome as a team just to be able to come to this stage, and now to find excellence and to find the successes that they're finding is just crazy. I've never even considered a win percentage like they're putting up right now at a PGC.
Oh, well, these guys have stuck together, and, you know, you can see that they have just gotten better over time. I mean, they just continue to improve event over event. Now, Vard, oh, the iron sight, he's got 1 bullet. Oh, he got him! Oh, no, Poonage, not like this. The iron sight SKS. With the PCS7 skin.
All the ways to die. That's all right, well, I really liked that last circle, so let's get it again. I'm fine with this one. Actually, I pretty much like all of this circle. Anywhere that it goes here, I'm pretty content. Even
just
the
not
fields,
hard north. Not hard north.
Even the fields here are kind of fun.
Fields are...
Well, even hard north, you get that cool church fight.
No. Only if that is extreme. Again, another thing that is extremely rare, despite you seemingly finding many of them in your casts. They do not happen very often. But I'm talking about that area south of Cruz de Valle. It is flat nothingness.
It should
garbage.
be known at this stage that I am just a harbinger of chaos.
Yes.
For whatever reason, you get some crazy circles. For whatever reason, I get a ton of them, except for my trailer park. I still haven't gotten a trailer park game yet.
They're really rare.
I feel like I've seen less trailer park games than I have actually island games.
I've gotten
I've seen more island games than trailer park, I think.
Well, how many island games have you gotten?
No, I was just saying seen.
Oh, seen.
I had never actually cast an island circle.
Oh, I've casted one. They're fun. They're really interesting, actually, in a way. I mean, of course, it really sucks for a lot of the teams because you have no hope of ever getting to the island. But you know, for the teams that have the ability to like do something in the water and get to the island, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and that's the downside of the whole thing is it's already kind of done by the time it's done. TMA though, we haven't had a chance to really dig into what they've been doing. They're kind of the quiet, you know, like we were talking about. Overpeakers had some issues, and they keep having like these early fights and skirmishes that they're getting around in. TMA, we know that this is a team that has some capabilities. I mean, Lulu always crazy. There's a lot that can go on here. It's just we didn't really get a chance to really see them do too much in the games yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a quiet sort of 5th place. I mean, they're playing really good. That last game kind of encapsulates sort of what this team has been. It's been scrappy, but, you know, again, they came together halfway through this year to, you know, form a team that was able to just barely squeak into PGC. But it's gotten veteran players. I mean, players who have been here, players who have, you know, performed at international lands, who played on the global stages, whether that be online or not. And, you know, yesterday, for example, I was just kind of scrolling through the stats, and Lulu always was our top AR damage dealer. So, I mean, like, in terms of skill, there's a ton of it there. Yeah. But, of course, we've seen it's hard when you know, form a team halfway through the year, and even getting here is massively impressive in and of itself for some of these teams. But, you know, for TMA... you know, just to be in the position they're in right now, you know, 5th place in the PGC 2022 Grand Finals, that's nuts. They're insane.
I mean, we talked a lot about E United in the earlier sections and the high ground control they have, but I feel like so much of that last game was dictated by the guys we just saw.
Yeah.
In Tropic. Once they took that secondary hillside, it really limited out kind of what E United was trying to do, and then the circle started pulling their direction on top of that, and suddenly they had so much authority inside of that game. It was crazy.
And there was a problem where, right, Lucarux gets knocked. They're in a 1-3 split, and that gives Twisted Minds the ability to safely start taking space on the bottom side of that circle. And again, everybody who's stuck on top of those plateaus, like United, like Entropic was in the previous game. When you come down, you're just done. I mean, you could. That's why United gave up, because they knew that you can't get down there without dying. And Entropic made a go of it, but they didn't successfully do it. It's just too difficult to do. You're just so exposed for so long. You're going to take damage on the falls potentially. There's a lot of things that can go bad.
Looks like Navi is getting ahead. Oh, that's okay. It's okay.
I even heard the click.
Navi was going to get there anyway. And look, parking with style.
Points.
Bam,
Yeah.
bam. Give
Ace
those guys an
Ventura.
extra fantasy point.
Love it. Ace Ventura style. Let's go.
Imagine being in the back of that one. I mean, we kind of do know. Well, at least I do. Like, whenever we went on the off-roading event, you know, like I always kind of picked on the Murado while I was trying to drive around these hills. We got into vehicles and we were driving around on the sand dunes. I could see nothing but hood and dirt everywhere. So I'm sorry, I have picked on you and the vision that happens in Murado. You are scientifically accurate, as Ninja is also going to be scientifically accurate and remove James from this lobby.
Yep. Combined spray there will send another player from Overpeakers out early. It's just, you know, it just keeps happening.
Hey,
I don't know what else to say.
It's kind of working, so just let it keep working.
I mean, it does sort of work, right? They're in 6th place. I mean, it just feels like if they could...
PUBG is a game that can allow a lot of strategies.
Yes, of course. You know, I mean, there are some that are better than others, but yes, you're right. I don't know that 3-man every game is the right strategy. I don't know if that's a winning strategy,
that's that
but
physics degree over there talking. See, like sometimes you just gotta feel it.
3 is less than 4. I'm good at math,
I get
right?
you, James. I get you, James. Just like, you know, you got it. You got it.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, and look, at the end of the day, the Overpeakers are playing great this tournament. In my opinion, I know there's, you know, you talk to James. You know, he's a wonderful guy. He's funny, and you know, they're just playing this to have, you know, fun, and they're playing this out to try to do the best they can. And
that nade.
this could be really bad here. That grenade is almost on point. But Clip, I told you, he's better from cars than he is on the ground. He is just absolutely insane.
Look, no tires. They don't even care. It looks back around. What are they gonna do? It's gonna be Spyro that comes in and does at least manage to shoo away, I guess, a slow rolling, tireless vehicle.
I mean, obviously Clip is good no matter what. There's just something special about Clip from a vehicle. He is just so good at it. It's just unbelievable. So, yeah, that's painful there for Twisted Minds. It looked like a pretty good trap. The grenade, I wasn't exactly sure, you know, how those are tough to, you know, cook for anybody. But they do get the res on the Perfectix. But it's a lot of damage done to that vest. That's a knock in the bag, so you're going to bleed out faster in the future.
That is such a crazy... Like, there is so much involved in that. There was the wall on the outside of it. There was the peeking angle. I don't know. That's going to be like one of the craziest shots I've seen.
That's tough. I mean, again, but the Klim makes him look easy. I mean, at the beginning of this tournament, he was just filthy from vehicles. I mean, just murdering people. It's a sight to behold.
People say that the drive-by meta is done. It definitely is not in his world.
Not in Clib's world, yeah. I mean, it's definitely been nerfed and definitely a lot more difficult to shoot from vehicles, but there's still a few players who are rather damn good at it, and he is one of them. Stole on a bit of a scouting mission here on the TMA. He's got to be really careful on this angle.
So Sol had himself a really good game the other day, and I have to ask a question because I've been thinking about this for a while. How arrogant is it to be from Korea and name yourself Sol?
Not very. This is something players do, and that's going to be a finish on to Lou. So a really big early exit here for Twisted Minds, as maybe now we're going to slow down a little bit here on the Twisted Minds bus. But I mean, does it yourself? So you know, it's not really. There's a lot of players across the multiple esports who name themselves after the cities. And
I didn't know if it was like, you know how people like call themselves like Tex or Dallas or something else like that. I didn't know if it was like really common or if it was just like
it's a similar thing. Like you just, you know, where you're from and you're kind of, you know, your pride for your region. You know, it's nothing. I wouldn't say it's arrogant. I think, I mean, you know, he's got the gunplay to back up any arrogance that he has.
He just got a ton of kills that game.
He's pretty nuts. You know, he's a guy that, you know, personally, I have a lot of love for because he came up through kind of the 2019 era, and he almost sort of made a big name for himself on Sanhok. When we had Sanhok in the map pool.
Shh, don't say that.
Yes, that is the map we do not name.
You're gonna tell the
but no, I mean, look, he was insane on that map. He was so mechanically gifted with the ARs and of course the DMRs, but he was so tactically like unique. He would do stuff that nobody expected, like walk out into phase 5 blue to wrap around and get a flank on a team and wipe them out and things like that. And he was just he was individually nuts, and he was very, very unique and creative as well. And Donawa recognized it. He was on a team called Media Bridge Squared back in the day. Now he's on Donawa. They put him together with Salute, and that dynamic duo has been absolutely money for them.
Well, Little Ghost, now it's time to be more stealthy. They've had a sniper battle that's going on, and he's been on the bad receiving end of it as two different angles. Haisaki and Taikon both have some vision on where he's playing at. See if maybe he can get some type of assistance over here, but he's not really in too much trouble unless he overpeaks it.
Yeah, now 17 actually has control of that kind of those tall mountains that we saw EU on in the previous game, and they're going to be watching on the edge. The western edge of the circle. It's a hard shifts to the east towards El Azhar. Donawa, TMA trying to make some rotations in the middle of this. Already a 2-2 split for EU in the middle. So if they get crashed here by Donawa, I can see Donawa. No, they pulled up.
Oh,
Okay.
Nikos, you've got a doozy really close. I don't know if he knows exactly where this is going to be at. He keeps looking on one side. Overpeaker's going to be roaming pretty close to 17 as well. Clib's going to go out. Doesn't get a chance to pull the trigger. I guess that's the way you got to handle Clib, right? Just don't give him a chance to shoot him.
Yeah, if he can't fire bullets, you can win that battle, no doubt. Grenade now. Nikos should be dead to rights here. If it's even close, yep. Good enough, and that is going to be the knock, as Wildcard is, as per usual in the early game, pretty darn spread out. So no one, Waikikamuka out driving at it, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get there. Absolutely not. Nikos is flushed.
So we've got everybody kind of condensing in right now in a circle. The Death Star Trench is a cruel, cruel mistress. It's got a lot of issues that you can face inside trying to navigate around it. So most of the teams trying to play to the south just due to the amount of terrain that's still to the north of it is much smaller. So with this, we're seeing a lot more of that junkyard lean, Azahar lean, and Overpeakers looks like they did manage to find themselves somewhere kind of comfortable. I do want to point out that we still have the Freaks as well as Day Trade. They're going to need to move, but 17 still has that high ground and vision, and they are wanting to punish with it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, especially with the team that's underneath them. If they can get a knock and a flush onto Twisted Minds, then that would absolutely be wonderful. You're feeling really good about that. Show looking at that angle of Perfectix. You can nestle yourself in that corner. It's pretty difficult to displace somebody without coming around from the other side. I mean, you can get kind of lucky with a grenade if you really, really cook it and throw it perfectly. But it is challenging. They try to push it, but Perfectix is just too good. They're going to need help there for Suju, or else he's going to get wiped out. Spyro putting some covering fire down into Lil Ghost.
Now it's going to be Duck Juice taking some shots, and he's going to go ahead and flush that out. Now 17 has got to figure out what are they going to do with this usurped position. With the firefight that's going to be happening over here, the rest of the lobby could have something that they can exploit with both 17 and Twisted Minds getting caught inside of a fight. Rotations now starting to be more aggressive as FaZe moving right down the center, using those slight ravines to try to dodge some of these bullets. Shot's not going to come out. Yeah, there's a headshot, and that's going to be Salute and Lambu doing the 1-2 right onto FaZe.
As soon as that vehicle stopped, I'm like, yep. They're done. That's it. that you can't hit that rock. That's just your players are too good in this level that if you make a mistake like that while driving, you will get absolutely ripped apart.
Navi gets a vision as well as Overpeakers, and everybody seems to want a piece of FaZe right now. Who's going to pick it up at the end? And it is going to be Overpeakers.
Nasty shooting from Mexi there. Just wonderful to see these minis put to great use throughout this event. Just
look at how many teams were shooting at them, man. That's
a lot.
Yeah, Gustav never ever move from there. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty bad.
Yeah, it's a bit wide open out here. There's still a lot of high ground in play. There's a lot of valleys with teams set up on the the edges of them. There's going to be a knock from Nurins onto Ivis, as there was Lucarex. They're just going to abandon him.
And E United has vision in this. They're just taking shots pretty far away, and I think
Сергей,
we're seeing a need to move
ты
much
что смотришь?
now.
Я выходил, трос давал.
Чё?
Чалку давал, у нас снег метет, а машин не заводится мужика.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This has not been their day today. Oh my God, that vehicle almost.
Я говорю, подожди, сейчас перерыв выдал. 10 минут.
Chill's able to stay alive, but that was.
Всю карту проебал. Смотрю, твист уже топ-1, ебать.
No, you should. You do not. I mean, it would be kind of cool, but no, you do not.
All right, so Expendable's going to come over here. Poochills, you've got yourself an issue all around you, but you do have Belmont that's providing some support, but it's not going to be enough.
Oh, yeah.
Trade was separated up to the north of it. They were already eyeing the next circle. Belmont is going to be able to take some shots into this one, but I think really it's about the track, just trying to get into that as a hard, like junkyard area.
Yeah.
That's really it. that whole like ravine that's just to the east of Junkyard is going to be a big factor inside the circle, and that's exactly where you can see a lot of these members trying to send down. Twisted Mind's going into here as well as Gustav. He does get into this point, but now that means the fact that a lot of people are going to have some high ground vision on him.
Yeah, I thought for a second maybe Twisted Minds might drive at Gustav, see if they can maybe sneak that point out, but they might not have been aware that that was just a single player in that vehicle, might not have been scouted. But they're three in this vehicle, and it's going to blow up. They have to get out right now and use this dip. This is the stopping point, whether they like it or not.
They did manage to cross the ravine, so they are on the Yahoo side of things. It's really just them over there. It's going to be the Freaks that are actually taking some long-range shots into this. TMA is also on this side, but they're running a 2-2 split, and they're right up against the edge of it. So this is at least going to be safe for a while for Twisted Minds.
Show just ran a little ghost over. That's a whoopsies.
That's not exploitable right now, though. That's
No.
outside the zone, and really E-United is the closest team to it. Nobody's going to see this.
I mean, at least it's, you know, just the run over knock.
Они сейчас поднимут 17-й своего.
You know, there you got that going for you, which is nice. EU is got Flood on point in the compound, three above him on the hill.
Was that a punishment for not winning his sniper duel?
For who?
Little Ghost.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
Do better next time.
Yeah, that move of sending Suju up there was a bit of a head scratcher. I mean, I understand what they wanted to do. They felt like they had Perfectix trapped, but clearly they got too close, you know, too close to the sun there, and Perfectix made him.
Can you have Perfectix trapped? Because I feel
No.
like I don't think that you can. Yeah.
No, absolutely not. He's too good. No. I mean, but you should be just like stunning the heck out of him, right? Like somebody should have been stunning him from above or something. I'm not exactly sure what happened there for 70, or they just didn't know, or maybe they
didn't have that information.
Maybe they didn't have the information. I thought that they might have scouted him, but it's entirely possible they didn't.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had an idea but didn't know exactly who was there.
Yeah,
and even if you had
Да ты в коробку залез,
you have
нет.
no idea which one of them is.
Well, if it's Twisted Minds, then I actually would be much more keen
А
to
ты,
go for
коты
that.
в коробку залезли.
I think that's one of the reasons they were playing it more aggressive, and then it's just sometimes the gunplay outdoes all the smart plays.
Yeah, better. More aim than brain. That's what you need, baby. That's all that matters sometimes. As you can see, TE is just maneuvering a little bit along the Death Star Trench edge. Just trying to cut through, and yeah, this one's going to have to start drifting south as it is Phase 4 has to remove the land ratio terrain around El Azahar. So we go down towards TMA, who has an interesting 2-2 split. This is tough for TMA here, Matt. Like, look at this. One's on the high ground, right? One of these compounds on the high ground, one's on the low ground. Do you gamble on one? Do you try to maintain this 2-2 split? This is a
чё бы и нет.
proposition for them.
This is a very interesting.
Если вылазить не будет,
Wait to see how this develops out.
на топ можешь сейчас.
Everything. We often talk about the Death Star Trench. This is a less severe example of it. As you can see, these overpeakers are going to be taking the shots into 17, going to connect with some of them, and it is going to be Little Ghost going down. He just cannot manage to stay alive in this one. Now going to sit it down. It's going to be right next to Cerberus. That's going to be a team that is not going to be afraid to do anything in this one, rolling right by him. It's going to be Gustav, just still trying to cling to life over here as he's got a ton of friends, and Cerberus tries to go for it. He's going to go down, and now the chaos and everybody running in here is going to continue.
Great spray down by Mexi onto Lil Ghost to take him out, so 17 has to settle for a shack. And yeah, this one's out in the open though, so it can be a little tricky for somebody to get up close and personal with it. So maybe if the circle kind of centers on it, sort of like a field circle, right? Where if the shack's if you're in the middle of it and the shack's there, you have a pretty good chance to get deep into the late game wild card, starting to just keep their eyes onto that Cerberus crash in that building. Nobody wants to be in those on Miramar. Everybody knows that those blue one stories, they are absolute death traps. Nades and mollies for days.
Okay, Northwest about to go off. We've got question mark that's going to be over here. We've got TE that's playing, Navi that's playing on the low side of it, United also coming in here as well. This is again, the ravine cutting in means the fact that we're on the western side, and a lot of the circle is going to be hard to navigate. Now you're seeing that verticality.
Что-то они сегодня сдали чутка, ебать.
But all of these teams still need to move in. Even 777 way back there was just seeing if maybe he can get some damage in, but it's going to be a lot like this, peeking over these small hills, getting some vision, and trying to get some knocks so that way the rest of your team can move in.
Yeah, I was kind of curious if QM was going to try to maneuver to their east. Day trade is over there, but there's a little bit of space here. I think QM was hoping that a fight would really kick off between TE and Navi and they could third party it. It really hasn't just yet, as TE is trying to use their high ground advantage to watch QM drive up this hill, to try to come up this hill and seeing if they can.
И Нави ни те, ни в зоне, но.
Did get a knock on a Navi. Maybe TE could turn it on.
Now seeing if they can move in. It's going to be also United getting involved. They've got the gatekeep position. They just kind of navigated through this one, got there first, and now are going to be raining down. Daytrade also moving into the north of this one. They were trying to make something happen, but it's going to be Ninja 2K who gets the shots in. It is still going to be question mark in front of Daytrade, where we're going to have to see TE trying to make a move into this one.
Ох, ебать,
still
четко
leaning into
залетело.
that hillside, taking in the shots, but haven't quite managed to find any of these dips just yet. Look at that. All the way up in the north, these teams are still trying to come into this.
Yeah, and now the grenades start to rain down from United. They have a wonderful position to gatekeep the heck out of at least 2 teams, maybe even 3. As now TE is going to finish off Na'Vi. They have to go through the bombardment of EU. Kickstart there, but Duck Juice did get a couple onto Na'Vi. That's nice, but it is not going to be much, not going to be able to push them much further forward, Matt.
Это сегодня вообще у них. Походу вчера напились на.
So the woes continue for our northern teams as they're going to have to move. So the 3 members for United now looking down, trying to figure out where they're wanting to go. It's going to be Freaks pretty close over to Twisted Minds. Perfected still trying to make the plays happen for his squad, but he's going to go down. And now it is just Batulans at range. Flash K lined up against him as it looks like Yahoo might also be hearing this. Batulans has got to be careful.
Yeah, it's actually Lambu who's going to find the kill there, so he's going to save the Kwangdo Freaks' life a bit. Still fighting is TE, Duck Juice, and Ninja 2K. Bruised and battered, trying to see if they can claw their way into this next circle, but a good grenade from Kick, and the finish as well. Kickstart is going to wipe TE out in 12.
But now it's going to be question mark on the other side of it. Got to do a quick spin around. Some shot's going to connect, and that's going to be Phil first in the open, but doesn't get the knock. You can see that this is starting to get more hairy the longer that this goes on. Daytrade hasn't even made a move. They're just watching this. Aduzi now moving aggressively and goes for the spray, but it's just damage on both sides. Belmont now taking the shots into the backside of question mark is going to mean the fact that they're going to have to retreat from the United fight. United gets a second to reset, but now it's going to be question mark just pinched.
I love the way that Daytrade is playing this. They're playing parallel to this fight between EU and question mark, and Dante trying to keep him honest, but Nurin just has a much better angle there from cover. Dante's out in the open. He's going to get knocked by Flash. Flash goes for another and finds it. 2 back-to-back huge knocks. The finish comes through for Daytrade.
And now the new gatekeepers are going
Не
to be
успевает он
wild card
отхиливаться.
as United and Daytrade both need to make their move. Danoa now moving in along this path. And you can see they're going to get right up next to Yahoo, who are still playing up against the wall. It's going to be Shinboy and Spark in close range. Balefrost on the back of this one. Freaks, looks like they just said, no, we don't even want to be over here anymore. They're cutting back into the west, and they're going to be rewarded for that because there's no one over there.
Yeah, Freaks are too beat up for this fight, and Danoa could have an opening here, especially with that knock onto Shinboy. That's 2 down for Yahoo. Meanwhile, EU continues their reign of destruction. They wipe over Beakers out of the shack, and now Danoa doing it over to Yahoo out in the open. 5 kills for Danoa. They are searching for Balefrost.
United is starting to catch up to Na'Vi. There's the potential for some upset coming into this one. Now we still have Wildcard that's still looking through everything. Freaks now have control of that southwest like we were talking about, but the new circle is going to pop as we're going to be moving into circle 6 with 23 alive.
A lot of players doing this. There's a lot of terrain to work with. How much of this kind of valley is going to be cut out by the next circle? How much is still going to be
Они сегодня что-то нормально так и идут эти. Как его? Блять. КДФ нормально сегодня, те нормально поиграли.
That's going to be really important. You know, where is this circle going to go to? Is it going to remove both of those compounds? Is one of them going to still be in it? Those are really key points in these next, couple phases of the game. Is they watch the car burn, just roasting some marshmallows, making some s'mores.
Belmoth was way to the north. We wouldn't have even seen him on this map, so he's going to go down. Circle's going to stay in, connected onto this one. So now it is going to be. Looks like 17 still being rewarded, hiding out in that shack, and nobody's going to want to push it yet. Cerberus, though, has got to be careful. Some of these
Серверы что-то вообще, блядь, как будто не играют, но не знаю из-за чего, что у них не пошло, может быть, хуй знает.
No, Danoa does.
Danoa still has one? Okay.
They should.
I was going to say, you can see, United doesn't have any.
I'm pretty sure Danoa does. Yeah, United is. I mean, yeah, like I said, they're making s'mores.
Но потом Ирангель, может, на Ирангеле возьмут.
Exactly, Matt. So you got a couple from Kick, so they're going to line those up and.
Там у Нави себя неплохо показывают на Ирангеле.
A little bit of a ledge they can use to hide, but I seriously doubt it.
Everybody except for the Freaks are looking at them right now, and
they might die to the blue. They might just say they just might, forfeit this one.
I mean, there is the capabilities for it. I wouldn't be surprised if you might want to try to go for more here and see how much much they can stretch this one down. Rello is going to go down, but they do get to the bottom
Бегут.
of this
Не
dip.
знаю,
The
все.
Hill's going to provide some
Они
cover.
просто на мясо пробежали.
Here's the issue. Still not safe.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, the fact that they got here is not bad in a way. It's just getting further is going to be difficult. Kickstart even found a point out of it, though. He did kill Lash K at range here, so he's got an angle. Akkad trying to go for the counter fire through the smoke.
Every point right now gets them closer to Na'Vi, and I think that that's the goal. They're just trying to see how close that they can get this, because they were kind of on the tail end, and it was starting to turn into a 3-horse race. Now it's kind of two compacted areas where we see Twisted Minds 17 as well as Na'Vi and E United. Yes, remember, 17 is still alive and can try to catch up to Twisted Minds as well.
Yeah, the placement points are pretty valuable for United if they can keep fighting for a little bit longer, but this rock now has a lot of teams looking at it. TMA, Danawa, the Freaks. Yeah, it's going to be TMA who finds one of the kills. The blue finds the other. Now you have the volley out front. Hemas down right away to Y. Great shot. Trying to play up close and personal. Gets backed off by Tycon. Tycon tries to take another fight there. It's actually going to be crazy from TMA that takes Greg's shot out. And Wildcard tries to make this push, but it is really challenging.
There's not much you can do, and Cal knocks himself as he jumps in, and now Adam is the odd man out in a bad situation.
Ну, трое пока их вроде в размен прошел. Правда, добили у них там.
They were to the north. TMA's got an angle on one side, Cerberus on the other. The only thing really, Danawa is now finally starting to come alive into the east, moving into TMA's direction, and so finally gonna...
ДФ, смотри, а этот так и живет у них один, блядь. Они все сливаются, он один живет, на. Ты заметил?
Those grenades are going to start breaking the doors. The follow-up here for Salute with more mollies, explosives being thrown in, but it looks like the res is going to come through, potentially some fire being poured down. Danawa just has to play their lives as well. They don't want to take any knocks up here. If they can do that, they've got a really good chance of coming through in the long run.
As for Akkad, because he's the only person that's not inside the circle, really is, yep, you're going to run across that ravine and just instantly die. Maybe he can pick up some kills, though, as he is taking some pot shots into Danawa, but doesn't have the cleanest vision. 17, just kind of vibing, man. Every single time they hear a firefight, their life gets better.
Oh, no, they're happy about this. As long as nobody's trying to crash their shack, this is gold for them. Akkad takes a whole bunch of damage there. Salute gets another knock onto Yuppie. Helen now has one onto Crazy. Danawa might be able to tear TMA asunder here.
Getting closer every step of the way. Only 1 point behind Overpeakers right now and just a few behind Day Trade, but TMA going for the full reset right now. The Salute has got to be careful. You can see continuing to smoke off as Akkad is just being a consistent thorn in the side of Danawa and really forcing some of the stops. They don't know how many members are over there. They just know bullets are coming at them.
Yeah, I mean, so far no flushes for Danawa, just a lot of armor damage. Of course, the knocks, start to add up. Akkad knows that there is not much he can do once he crosses that hill in front of him. So, yeah, just send yourself into the circle gods as now stuns are starting to come out from TMA. They want to make a counteroffensive.
This is where you can make that push, but it's going to be a quick reposition coming out from TMA. They're aware on how Danawa is wanting to push this one. Instead, moves directly into the hillside. Now, trying to stall this one out. Danawa has to be careful. They do get some shots in. But nice pickup coming out from Yuppie. It's going to mean that Danawa now has to reposition, figure out how they're going to do this. Soul is playing down to the south, watching in the ravine, and now he has to come up and try to reinforce TMA, who's playing this much more aggressive. They walk up. Helen holding the line, though, has got to try to find this, and yes, TMA does get eliminated, but it got dangerous there for a second.
Big kills, 10 for Danawa, now 17 under pressure. Finally, Cerberus pushes out and wipes him out with 2 mollies. Goodbye, 17. Cerberus versus Danawa, a 4v3. Danawa has the high ground.
Эти тоже, смотри, 17-х убили Церберы. 28-й сразу место.
10 kills for Danawa right now, and they're about to have a very similar situation what we saw just a moment
Видишь?
ago in Cerberus.
Тут, короче, когда топ, там, мне кажется, больше очков дают.
They knew how to defend it a moment ago. A lot of this is going to be able to about like rotating, stepping forward, taking some shots, letting one of your teammates take some damage, and then letting another one come in to try to finish it out.
Они двоих гранатами молотами взорвали, хуяк сразу 16-го на 11-й, ебать.
Circle 8 is going to dictate this fight quite heavily, and it shifts towards Danawa. So the center of the circle is on top of this hill, which means Cerberus has to fight up it. They have quite a few smokes in the bag, so they might be able to get some towards the top of this ridge line potentially to try to cut off Danawa's vision up close and personal. And Soul is trying to, find the angles on the outside. Salute as well to try to see if they can really isolate where every member of Cerberus is. I love that they're being diligent, making sure they're checking that far southern flank. The spray from Solaldi, pretty decent. Tries to go for another, misses with the follow-up.
Yeah, now his position is revealed. Maybe that could allow Haisaki to make a move. Danawa is now stepping away from this angle, realizing where the assault and the threat could come from. They do not want to get flanked, so now separating out Tycon, playing that low position. Does have the blue that's going to be coming in back behind him, and he is going to be the one that's trying to find an angle, but Danawa is not going to give it. This is just very smart map play coming out from Danawa.
Yeah, this is kind of what you would expect from a team of this caliber that has been.
Ты видишь, что они тены в бугре, и у них зона, а им придется заходить в зону.
You've got that superstar Tycon down there for Cerberus, who could be, really monumental, instrumental in this fight coming up, as now the smokes are starting to come out. Yeah, I like what Cerberus is doing here, trying to cut off the close sight lines of Danawa, really limit their vision, allow you to get up and around this hill, and Haisaki looking for the flank. It's going to be important for Helen to watch this.
Danawa now holding multiple angles into this. Tycon did manage to regroup, so it's a 2-1 push coming up from Cerberus. They are inside the zone, but it is going to be that center dot in the next circle controlled by Danawa. Helen gets some vision on what's happening. These smokes, they are blocking out a lot of vision, and they're kind of funneling Danawa into a specific angle. Tycon still moving down there, as well as really Danawa is kind of stacked up right next to each other. They've got
Вот он говорит про Тайкона, типа он один может перекидать. Мы уже за это видели.
Seeing if maybe there's some weak point, but Danawa's not giving it to him.
Yeah, no, Danawa's smart here. They don't need to push up and over this hill line at all to peak. They can wait this out. It's just a matter of making sure that everybody's on the same page. Your communication is good. You're able to isolate, identify targets.
Все, девятая, прикинь, девятая зона, блядь, ебать.
But they already committed so many at the early part of this fight, Matt. They weren't able to capitalize on it.
Cerberus has actually gotten center dot control now. With the Danawa playing so far back onto this up against the wall, Cerberus now has an easier track in, and Danawa, I think, has realized this. Now they've had to shift down to the south, and it looks like they're just trying to make sure that they keep some type of cover. It's still going to be Helen to the north, and it looks like he's playing more aggressive. If he goes down, it's still going to be a 3v3, but that flash is going to connect in, and Cerberus read that clean.
Yeah, well, they were trying to hide Helen down here. He's getting a little bit too aggressive for my taste.
Yeah.
He's going to get taken down. This is a pivotal mistake here by Danawa. There was no reason for Helen to get aggressive there. He could have hid at the top of that hill and waited this out.
Maybe that was some type of bait, because it's allowed Danawa to shift down.
You're right. It was bait, but he overplayed it.
So now Soul playing in
Ой,
this
граната.
seeing if maybe he can open this one up. Cerberus still lined up next to each other. They don't know exactly where Danawa is repositioned. They've lost some vision in those smokes as well. So Danawa now leaning in. Soul has a good idea on how the push is going to come out, as both teams right up next to the dot, trying to make sure that they get control over this one as the zone is closing in, and it's just going to continue to crunch down.
Yeah, the flashes start to come out here from Cerberus as they want to gain more and more control over the center. A lot of smokes having to be used by both teams to make sure that it's a DMZ in the middle of this, a no man's land, and so far so good, as now Danawa is going to try a bit of a re-rotate, see if they can watch this valley on the other side.
This is so terrifying with this much smoke down. Molotovs going everywhere. You can't even walk into smoke that you've placed because you don't know. You could just be walking, set yourself on fire, and that can turn the entirety of the game. Utility now starting to come out. Sloop gets a vision of what's happening. Tycon does turning this into a 3v2. Haisaki now moving in, realizing where one is, going for some shots, but this is very difficult. He wants to try and push it. Does get down on one. Does get a second one. Cerberus still continue to go up. It's just going to be Soul. He's looking down into this firefight. It is a 2v1 situation. He's committing in, trying to use his teammates for bodies, but no, it's going to be Cerberus that picks it up.
Oh, Haisaki there with a spray transfer of his life to get 2 kills
28 был, да?
and break things open. Patient play from Cerberus. But that one felt like maybe Danawa was going to be able to start contesting for one of those top 5, top 4 positions if they could come through with the win. They had the positioning, they had the manpower, but they made some key mistakes in that fight that cost them that game.
I mean, still 10 kills though. Still 10 kills.
It's not a bad game. The problem is, Matt, is that look, a lot of this is going to be on Lambu. He has been the IGL.
Ну, мне кажется, тут как в танках. Если ты типа внизу, у тебя x4 очка сразу работает. Ну, типа, понимаешь, чтобы снизу можно было вверх поднять. Они, видишь, видать, падали до низа, а потом ультанули, ебать. 37 должно быть. Плюс он был в третьем шлеме. У них один был в третьем.
There's so much complexity. You can look back into that one and really just deep dive. And I know our guys on the desk are going to want to do just that.
Обиженно, глянь.
dog that rages up the hill and takes the win on the back of Haisaki off the leash. An amazing spray transfer and a great chicken dinner. My name's Taviz. I'm here with Toby and Avenger to break down the action. Let's get right into the highlights.
A wild game with action from start to finish. By the end of phase 2, we already have the first 14 players dead. Then it quiets down for a little while, and then once the circle starts shifting down into the valley, the northwest side quite literally lit on fire.
Yeah, honestly, throughout this though, how you have this valley that goes down to the middle here, it's so hard to traverse.
А вот 17-я команда.
Canyon sides around it. If you're able to control one of the sides from an early stage, you're looking good. But honestly, in this case here, there's so much movement.
Но они сейчас должны быть. Вон, видишь, у них было 19 очков. За четверых им дали сразу, они поднялись, ебать. Походу там буйство какой-то, ну, какой-то эта хуйня действует. И убиваешь. 24 за 2, видишь? В два раза увеличивается, слышишь? 29 за 5.
Double headshots in that case there. It's just way too good there. He dropped 2 of them in a 3 versus 3. They had a 4 versus 3 advantage. Helen was supposed to be the anchor position, but he aggressed through the smokes. He tried to get info, tried to push them or hurt them towards the side that even if that didn't happen, Tiger still had 3 nades, 3 Molotovs. They would have been able to completely disassemble them here throughout the late game.
Ну, если x2, то 40.
Too good.
Absolutely, and it did. There was that moment where sort of Helen seemed like he was dropping the ball, and then Taikon stepped up and dropped the ball, and it really did come down to Haisaki and just how well he played. That flick coming up over the top of the hill was beautiful.
У одного вентилятор, у другого собака стоит.
He did. He went out there and he made the play.
Ну, посмотрим.
Again, I mean, great game for them. They essentially got their end game position off of the Twisted Minds pull up. They see them down there. They know they're attracting a lot of attention. As soon as they die, they full speed send it. 2 vehicles come up, claim the area to themselves, and with a little fighting going on the east side, they will essentially take control of everything once they take out TMA in the compound.
If that is the confidence booster going into late game, alright, we just took down Twisted Mind that just
Ну, рейтинг это да.
like that. Then, I don't know, but sure, they played throughout well, and also the way they held onto the terrain and played around the terrain to get on to take me away was actually quite fantastic for the way they executed that.
And as we look at the top 4 teams, we talked about
Ну, нормально, серверы ультанули, а были внизу. Еще могут себя показать нам. А мы только говорили, да? То типа давно не было слышно, это недавно они себя не показывали. Ну сейчас сразу они ультанут. Сейчас нижняя команда будет те, походу, да? Вот они остались. 1, 2 он снял. 3, 1 троих, ебать. Тотал 18. 29 вы плюс 18.
Donovan not far behind, and this is a team that we started the day talking about sort of Soul's performance yesterday, and it continues as they do put up good numbers.
Yeah, for sure. This game here, fantastic for them. Even though they didn't win, could have gotten a little bit more. In this case, how they got throughout the game, how they fought throughout it, took down multiple teams, stayed 4 guys alive through that. I love that. They had some utility that they could have used, had some more from taking.
Где-то место 10 у них будет. А хотя нет, эти были на 10-м. Ну да, где-то 10-9 место. Вообще Нави 11-14 сдохли, ёп. Висы рядышком. Что-то они какие-то расстроенные, ёп.
Just lock it in. That way, if they push through the smoke, you've got them. Cerberus comes up with some big numbers, big damage. Taikon, no kills, but still putting in a lot of work. And this is, I guess, the style of gameplay that when they're at their best, we see from them. They want to go out and they want to scrap.
I mean, and a lot of the damage that they get does come from the early game, because once they posted up in the compound, they took away from Ghost stuff. Other than one push coming towards their position with Viking Mukau accidentally killing himself on that one, not a lot of attention came towards them. So that means that from this compound, despite them being
нормально идут. Ультанули вообще снизу сразу в центр, ёп. Карта и счеты нормально. Десятка, я же тебе сказал. 36 очков. Блять, эти птички, как они называются? Йохи. Вообще на 14-м. На отборе тоже неплохие результаты показывали.
All the placements have been sucked up on the top, and everything, all kills is still continuing to be taken away. But right now, top 6 is super heavy.
Видишь? 87.
One good game, and if you're in like on the right side,
по киллам тоже обходят. Ну, 17-й держат ассистов. У них ассистов больше. Типа нокнутых, или как они? План, цен. Нокнутых у них больше у 17-х. Да, и вообще два. Это убийство. А рядом есть 40 где, а? Плейс. Это типа, наверное, кого они нокали, но не добивали. Помощь, да. Блять, странно. 4-я карта подряд без перерыва. А, нет, был перерыв один. А, вот он перерыв. Гамма Стар. Не знаю. Гранд-финал, ман. Вот он. Какой Мирамар? Рангель, ёп, Мирамар, да что за... Смотри, мульта, блядь, мультафаун, какой Мирамар, ну. Ну, здесь они себя показывали. Ну, Нави-то опять разлет уебаторский какой-то.
Just here, you can finish this. I'm leaving. all right.
We do have a game of rivalries that's going on right now, as it feels like 17 Gaming Twisted Minds are at each other's throats on the leaderboard. Navi and E United close neck and neck with each other, and then Take Me Away Gaming with Danoa Esports. This is just
мне аж поиграть захотелось.
Here or there that can turn so many of these.
Yeah, and that's why that last fight was so brutal for Danoa. I mean, they could have jumped up into 5th place instead. You know, they're a point behind TMA, and they're going to be kicking themselves, but we'll see.
It's okay. It's
no,
okay.
It's not.
You guys.
Он мне уже писал.
Oh my God.
Well. What? Okay, Aaron Kell, I give you the respect you deserve. I called you out. I said you best be spicy, and you
да, с кем ты в одном доме утаешься.
We really do bring the worst out of the circles, my friend.
Yeah, I know. I love it. Okay, E United gets themselves a circle. This has the recipe for a multi-power game.
Ты как этот, как смотрел «Полицейский с Рублевки»? Там Володя не мог приносить имя Измайлов, ёп. Так ты скоро будешь это имя не произносить, да. Там драка будет, все будет зависеть от Мильта Паун. И этот как он. Кто Мильту займет, и завод. В заводе будет драка нормальная. Завод тоже в зоне.
You know, to see the other two stepping up, this was something I talked about at the very beginning yesterday for Danoa. Kind of their keys to success was Soul and Salute are known quantities. They're both in the top 5 for damage right now, I think, overall. And
Danoa, они в этом,
when
они
Helen starts stepping up, would
починках.
potentially be enough to push them towards one of those top 3 spots.
I'm sad I didn't see who got the car. Remember that was kind of the...
Игра будет через завод у них у всех большинство. В заводе драка будет.
So we'll have to keep you guys apprised if you guys were not watching yesterday.
В заводе драка будет. Коряк. Первый раз увидел.
Over a vehicle out here. Is this going to be the continuation? No, that's...
Well, Danoa got the best of it. No. This one's
way.
Yeah, this one's way on the other
Sorry,
side.
I just saw a car and I got excited, man.
I mean, I do...
Вот тачку берет.
I mean, Soul would have been the closest. So not sure. Lambu grabbed the spawn over by the ruins, maybe? Or no, the one by the...
Given the fact that we see Helen and Lambu going out to the east and west respectively, I wouldn't be surprised if Twisted Minds got that one. So a lot going on to this one. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, I'm often a proponent for, you know, rotate early, get into good positions, strong spots. Not this, sir. This is one of those that you just kind of like, you can, but at the same time, maybe being
72
slower, making sure
килла.
you've got every bit of meds, everything you can possibly have, because this is just going to be a meat grinder.
71 граната, 83 минуты. Или что там, в суммарке, что он живет, или что там показывает? А, упал.
A pretty high percentage that it goes up to the north.
Yeah.
So if you're not in one of those teams who's in a spot to gain one of those priority compounds in that southeastern corner, then yeah, then you gotta spend time to gear up for long fights, to gear up for these edge fights, and try to get your points that way.
See, that is going to be the Freaks already crossing the bridge, saying that yeah, okay, we do know that military base is in this, but Novo is not going to be our home. We're going to go ahead and make the gamble into the north. It is the smart play if you're a gambling type person. TMA also going to be coming in right back behind where E United tends to drop out, and it's going to be open as they're already running a 2-2 right across a very strong hold position. But
Там хуёвый будет, надо было им там оставаться, а хотя...
Yeah, they've been able to navigate it better.
Так она, они, блядь, они падали в мильтопауну, мне кажется.
That's running 2-2s very regularly that hasn't been heavily punished.
Yeah, I agree, fully agree.
Вон КДФ едут тоже.
Making sure that they're, you know, they've got escape plans, that they're able to regroup as for when they need to start taking fights and, you know, gaining those points.
Ну, Йохи что-то в последнее время меня не радует, но.
Only 3 points behind
Вот сейчас...
not, you know, 21 points behind Twisted Minds in 17, but that's, you know,
Те вот что-то тоже сейчас опять последнее место свое заняли.
Which has happened a couple times today.
Yeah, sure, of course, yeah.
So Danoa making their send as they're going to be moving into that, like, just kind of southwest lumberyard. You know that path? They're going to be running by the Reds. Everybody knows the Reds that are over there in that area.
Один с команд, грубо говоря, вверху.
And looks like they are going to make more of that mill to push. And Danoa, you're going to be running into Cerberus, and it's going to be Tycon Soul lines up and gets him knocked.
That's a huge first knock. Helen even has a pump, so they're planning for this, but Soul's going to get punished for his initial knock, as well as Salute trying to bail him out. He's going to get cut down in the crossfire. Helen tries to come around the corner, can't get the pump to go, and Danoa runs right into Cerberus, who just beat them in the previous game, and maybe wiping them out again.
I don't know who's going to be more tilted, Danoa or
минус
This one's going to finish fast, and Cerberus, they're finding their vibe.
This is what I was talking about, man. The concern with the mental is
А
really
капитан у них кто? У Церберов.
It's bulging.
А, вот, я вон увидел, вот он. Как его, блядь, ник? Да, да. Нет, не Тимус. Ну, сейчас я тебе скажу. Покажет. Кто он в ангаре, блядь, да покажи этой снайперкой. Вон. Хасяки, да, Хасяки у них капитан. Блядь, половина ников нахуй, я вообще забываю. Я команд нахуй забываю, ебать.
Change your own fortune, your own momentum, but instead they've done the opposite.
I feel bad for day trade. They really want this to happen.
Видишь, эти мост пока караулят. Но они понимают, что до зоны ебать им сколько ехать. Пока чекают мост. Он, видишь, он говорит, что они тут стоят на. Кого, говорит, закрывать они пытаются. А, ебнули. Эти едут добивать.
Because I know that they're capable of better. Attaboy Cow. He's sitting right behind me.
So I get a reminder to everybody.
The BM.
I love players so much. I firmly recommend everybody open the map. It is going to be really needed in this circuit.
Нет, с английскими.
We are looking at it right now, and all I just see is an abstract art piece of just colors splashed.
Тут нету русских титров. Тут только английский, я и то успеваю половину предложений только перевести. Тут обычно по 2 предложения, субтитры. Видишь, показывает. Я успеваю только верхние перевести. Ну, чутка. Чутка. И то вот если по титрам смотрю.
It's relatively safe. There's a ton of cover on the outside of this. When you get to, if it does start shifting down towards the beach, towards the southeast, you can wrap around the outside of it, get a ton of information.
Это контроль типа. Контролит эту. Серверов. Дорогу контролят.
And then they crashed into this. So I guess this was sort of inadvertent, but or maybe this was intentional from the beginning, but yeah, Saki are just not pushed in time by Helen. Helen gets one pump in.
Ебать, почти. Я видел, почти эти высадил с дробаша. Он видел, дал тычку, а, видать, в броню въебал.
Our only teams not yet inside the circle are going to be Wildcard and Entropic. This is just a waiting game, is all I can really say.
Плюс ультанули, что там, если сейчас те ультанут, у них плюс x2 идет сейчас.
Oh, day trade. After you waited so long. I know. Day trade is, you know, I mean, day trade, there's a decent chance that this gamble pays off huge for day trade.
Да.
No way. No way he hits that. That is ridiculous, Cow.
Oh, Cow, I love that.
Или слышь, повтор, как высадили смокинги, ёп.
Why did you kick that cow?
I mean, I don't know if he meant to, but
I don't know, but that
that's
cow...
why you don't kick
А, вот они кого ждут.
That's why our
Или нет?
friend here with the GOAT esports name does posit the question, because if you do kick that cow, you're going to suffer.
I asked him before, and he says he doesn't know.
I know
Нет,
he
не
doesn't.
ждут никого.
It's just a beautiful name. It just rolls off the tongue.
That just means whatever your headcanon is, it's just true.
Yeah,
And
just make up whatever you
that
want.
almost makes it more beautiful, right? As Entropic is going to be coming in the south. Day trade, you can see, still continue to move in. New circle is going to be popping.
Зона, знаешь, куда ультальнуть? Вот сюда, на остров, в Сосновку, ёп. Его-то будет мясо, нахуй. Нет, не ультанул. А вот прикинь, ультанет вот в этот город потом, на Сосновку, в этот маленький. Да, на воде будут ебать. Чё, какой замес будет, мне интересно. Ну давай посмотрим. Я думаю, что туда ультанет. Типа, чтобы... Ну, сейчас посмотрим. Нави сейчас по Нави отстрел не высаживают. Пока вообще не летит у этого.
It's going to be two members for the Freaks going down as this is turning into a bad game for Green.
The other two members of the Freaks are driving away from this. I mean, I guess that was the plan from the beginning.
Возможно. Посмотрим. 70 у них очков. На 17 очков разница. Ты видел, да, как эти догнали? 30, сколько? 30 очков Твист догнали. За сегодняшние катки. Так что это еще не показатель, что 17 очей.
They've already found themselves a position. Question Mark and Wildcard still are two teams that are on the outside to the north, and it's going to be Entropic still on military bases. Now all of the fun in this area is going to pop off, and I gotta say, this is probably one of my favorite circles on Erangel. I love this, whatever goes in this military.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love this circle, no doubt about it. Oops. Puchill's got knocked, so Flash is just going to send him out a little bit earlier, as Navi has, you know, a position that frankly Afrika, or not Afrika, I did it, there it was. I was waiting for me to call them instead of Kwangdong. They used to be the Afrika Freaks, now the Kwangdong Freaks. For Kwangdong to hold this spot, but instead it's going to be Navi.
Oh no, Entropic are moving across the bridge at the exact same time. Question Mark is going to be coming into here. Ivas is leading the way. Nalip is still pretty far back for Entropic, so it's just the three members that are going to be coming up. They can play that western side and just kind of pass each other, and I think that's what's going to happen is, yeah, this is a peculiar fight.
Well, you know, Hikari's trying to drive away from
Блять, говорю тебя, микрофон выключил, меня спрашивал.
Just tries to go for the spray, which, you know, sends his vehicle. I don't know if the tire got hit or not. Can't see from this angle, but
Вот,
you know, his car
момент.
spins out and then he's just dead to right. Akkad's out in the open, makes it easy for the crossfire with the way that Navi had fanned out. And again, your other two players, when I looked at the map, the Doritos were driving in the other direction during the fight, so there was just no backup.
This feels like one of those moments, and again, I'm not trying to make assumptions or anything else like that for the Freaks. Guys, it just does feel like one of those moments where two people calling two different plays.
Ну что ли, отошел, блядь.
But it's these wide splits, early wide splits that
Сергей, раз. А, он, походу, отошел-то. Сейчас посмотрим, подождите секундочку, мышка зарядилась. Вот так.
Move and having escape plans, and there the Freaks were just barricading a four-card push with two guys.
Ну эти сейчас вот могут подставиться. Неплохо так. Ой-ой-ой. Сейчас буду здесь, походу, забирать. Бля, ебать, где у Нави один.
You know, the Freaks, as good as they are in the PWS, of course, winning like 5 out of 6 PWSs or something stupid like
У
that.
Нави где?
You know, no doubt that their style works there, but when you get to these globals, yeah, they have struggled throughout their history. So we'll see if they can have a bounce back here, maybe pull a TMA out of their hat, get deep into the game, and get some recovery points, as Navi is now sent Mel out on a solo scout mission to kind of keep his eyes on the remnants of the Freaks in the TMA compound.
We also do have, it's going to be TE, going to be kind of regrouping.
Блять, группу с двумя П. Ну ладно, похуй.
Overpeakers still just getting good control over their areas. This is actually, we're moving into about 15 minutes.
Нормально, нормально.
Passing on the clock. Still all 4 members
Ну их
up,
вот
and
из того
they've
сейчас
got themselves a
подымут.
good spot. I mean, they've got the
Вот.
factory, they've got all the way up.
Завод этот, ну там 2 челика у них всего лишь.
This is like, probably say a good, what, maybe fifth of the circle.
Ебать, что творит на 17-м?
Yeah, I love Multimini in these circles. I mean, really just a really pivotal position. Pretty easy to lock it down.
Вот на Нави едут. ОМ. Посмотрим.
Actually trying to see if they can steal it, but it's actually Cerberus who finds that. They're going to crash into Entropic. Ivan has a good angle. Gets the initial knock, but a doozy on the drive-by. Going to find the trade. Dante here going to crash in, and this should be compound.
Can you do
nail up? I mean, this should be QM's compound, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, he can maybe try to make some type of sneaky plays, but...
Но они сидят Церберы в нормальной такой позиции тоже. Они, видишь, 3 дома забрали, каждый по дому.
Also looks like they're getting a smidge more friendly to the Milta area. As you can see, it's going to be example moving in. He does look like he's getting pulled away as Nailup starting to have some throwables come at him, and really it's just waiting.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he's just trying to buy as much time as he can, and maybe, you know, someone else crashes this, does some damage to QM. You know, you can see Hobbits has been knocked out there. There is, of course, this one has a roof, unlike a lot of these types of buildings on this map. So, you know, he could go up there. There are a lot of options for Naileup to play with.
There's a lot of ways to extricate yourself out of this building, right? You know, like there's the balcony situation.
Блять, они ничего своего не поднимут.
Hold down the upstairs.
Типа нет смысла или чё?
Was that his own Molotov?
No, it's Phil first.
Okay, so Entropic is eliminated. Now it's going to be more about what's going to be going on. I will say that we see some strong positions being played throughout this. 17 is still playing that hillside to the north around Lumberyard, and it's going to be Wildcard that's going to be the opposite side from them.
Yeah, I'd like to see some more bolt action from Waikigumukau. That was always enjoyable from them. But right now, 17 is just kind of waiting this out, just seeing if they can find that knock, find that opportunity, find that moment to try to make their maneuver. Of course, they've been absolutely just disgustingly good on Erangel throughout this event. So see if they can rack in some points, see if they can pull themselves ahead of Twisted Minds, who looms just to their east. There's a very important circle shift here, Matt. You know, it has to remove as much water as possible. So, you know, north, northeast is the most likely. Yeah, north, just straight up to the north.
All right, so this is where we need to start talking about the important points of the map. Where we see Yoho posted up at, and those hillsides right back behind.
Видишь, и зона, я же тебе сказал, будет походу в этом, в заводе. В заводе будет.
You see a lot of control. Teams that can get really control over that area in the later stages can really win the games. The problem with it is you can't really send it in early.
Там Йохи неплохо сидят так.
There's nowhere to hide. So you're trying to set up a preparatory jump into that spot. Rotation's going to come in. TMA
Ох,
is going
высадили.
to lose Lulu as they are moving into Overpeaker's territory. UP is going to stop off from that hillside pretty close to E United. As really it's just going to be pot shots on teams rotating through.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Cerberus is getting ahead a bit of 17, and 17 hasn't been able to do much about that. I hate being in the spot as TMA because these grenades can be really, really dangerous. The team from Miltimini can just make it rain on top of you. Yuppie trying to come in to reinforce his team.
Высадит,
He's going to
нет.
slide on through, but he's a little bit exposed at that angle. I can see just tons of bullets whizzing out from various teams at him, and he has found enough safety to at least keep himself, you know, obscured from E United, but that car's about to blow. Oh, he's done. Once he gets out of the way.
Oh, man. He's lucky that that thing flipped backwards. Now the Freak's going to make their send in along the same pathing as it's going to be E United that does manage to take down Lash and End. Looks like he's going to go ahead and drop the vehicle, try to make a wall out. It's going to be Mel that still gets vision.
Сейчас кто-нибудь выйдет на балконе на заводе. Сразу со всех сторон выебут нахуй.
Yeah, I mean, 17 is just, you know, trying to kind of dissect Wildcard at the top. Wildcard sent a couple up.
Сейчас Нави будут, наверное, перетягиваться.
QM has to make a move of some kind, but they've got vehicles that are in Not the worst of shape. You can see one of those Dacias is about to blow up, so that one's probably not going to be ideal for this push. 17 able to keep a couple vehicles alive behind this. Grenade going to bounce way too far as 17 doing a good job utilizing this rock for cover and to keep themselves kind of safe from anything but a perfectly cooked grenade.
Cerberus has 2 members that have already made landfall very close to 17 in Wildcard's position and still have several that are hanging out back behind this one inside of Milta itself. I think that a couple of people are just kind of waiting for the calm, and that's what Question Mark was trying to do. And here you go, 17's just decided the fact that they're going to make the move into this one, trying to get this wizard tower. And now making the push. They can't figure out what to go. Little Ghost is now outside onto this one, and this has just gotten crazy complicated as 17 now finally repositioning themselves in a way they can do this. But Throwables now starting to come out.
Xiaowu had to wait for the fire to go out. Now Show just absolutely tears TE apart with the help of FaZe and others. Little Ghost with the Groza up onto point. Is he going to be able to get Greg shot over to Alia? QM gone. Greg shot there. I guess he won that fight against Little Ghost. Now Xiaowu trying to cover for his teammate.
17 Gaming trying to make the push into this one. Still's got to be careful. The vehicle's right next to him, and that's going to be continual harassment.
Oh, no!
Jumps out right into it. Xiao's just going to go ahead and pick that one up quick. Assault coming up from it, and that's going to be Wildcard eliminated. 17 gets control over this position, but the circle doesn't stay here. It goes back down to the hillsides.
Oh, Greg just did not recognize that vehicle was about to explode and hops right onto it.
I don't think he could have seen it.
No, I know. Yeah, I mean, I suspect not. I mean, I think he just, by the time he hit the vault key, it was maybe too late. You know what I mean? That was tough, man. What a fight there. But he did a good job to eliminate the Groza position of Lil Ghost early. But the recovery there, 4 kills for Show.
Final act to Show.
Нормально такой.
Final act's looking good.
Сейчас высадит, смотри. Ой,
Now he's got the angle to provide some cover for his teammates as they're going to be sending it much closer into the Yoho positionals, but it's going to be Balefrost that now hits onto Flash, and now Nuren's going to try the exact same thing.
Ну эти тоже темная лошадка нахуй.
Belmoth, third time's a charm?
Perhaps.
Они сидят, нет, а потом как ёбнут нахуй. Да, я понял.
Into this one with the amount of chaos that was happening into it. Instead, wait for the circle to get smaller. Then it's a cleaner push, so that way when you're cresting that hillside, people just aren't spraying you down. United gets some vision into this one, and yep, there we go. Throwables now starting to become more and more of a factor. But Overpeakers, how are you going to get rid of these wrecks?
I mean, I figured Overpeakers would add a few more frags sitting in there. Yeah, I mean, fire is a good way to solve a lot of problems. So, yeah, you're doing a little bit of damage there to the back of Xiao Hai. He is going for the res on the Yuppie, but the Molly is not going to force the knock onto him. You can see, for Overpeakers, the damage utility in terms of frags and Molly seems to be expended, so they're going to probably go for like a flank, a wide angle here. There is still end out in the open, and that's a little bit late, but the tree's there.
Yeah, okay.
Nope.
Yeah, Clip still picks up, because why not? Guess where he is? He's in a car.
Yeah, dude, that's, I mean, he's
Так у них, знаешь, какие там быстрые руки, нахуй. У них клавиатура прям под собой расположена. Они там так щелкают, нахуй, что как на машинке стирали. Ты видишь, где у них клава стоит? Они боком расположены вообще. Просто у меня Илюх так играет вертикально. Да. Но она не кверху, получается, он прям под себя ее подвигает, где кнопки. Где бегать, здесь на стрелочку. Не стрелки вверху у него. Не знаю, нравится, говорит, ему так играть. И все. Почему для сложности игры? Типа, так намного легче, он говорит, чем она расположена. Ты типа быстро все перебегаешь, переставляешь. Он когда сидел у меня, играл, говорит, блядь, как ты, говорит, так играешь, на?
Still chilling behind that exploded Dacia, and that's going to be a load up and go for the Overpeaker. Suju has found that Groza at the very least, and a little bit of safety for it now. Oh, Yuppie, what can you do?
Тебе непривычно, а у него она прям под собой, чуть ли не под грудью лежит, на груди почти.
Yeah, exactly. Style points. Woo!
Catch some air. running out there as now Yoho sees what's happening and taking some shots. He's gonna be all right though. Not comfortable, but he's all right.
You 1 HP? That's I would definitely
He's
consider
тоже.
that not comfortable.
All right, so he's back up, and
Ну,
now where are
этим-
they gonna go? Snickers has already made
Ты
landfall
не
on
забывай,
the
что
backside of that hill, and we're gonna have to see how overpeakers want to move into this one. Yoho does have some vision into this, I believe.
из Церберов,
Looks like there
из
might
Церберов
be
один жив.
United as they try to regroup. FaZe also separating out away from their building.
Он
They were
каждому, вот кто по одному, они каждому, 17-й.
hill, which means the fact that we could see a
Они
southern
могут
part of this hill
попортить
being
немножечко,
overrun by FaZe as well as overpeakers, depending on how they rotate in.
This is 100%
в какой-то момент выйдут нахуй, ёбнут двоих, ебать, и все, что ты ими. Ничего не будет. Перетяжка пошла. Тачка горит, а там твисты за бугром и 17. Увидеть нет 17-го. С грозой даже, ебать. Понимает, наверное, твисты понимают, что там у них челик. Ой, сейчас его высаживают эти Еулы.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, Mexi did all he could out of
У него выбора не было никакого.
That's the best you're gonna get out of that, really. Solalzi for Cerber is still up here, and you know he's got nothing to do but prone. There isn't a ton of cover. There's still some high ground from like Yoho and Twisted Minds. That makes things a little bit tricky for him to crest down that hill. And Yoho is just vibing. 3 kills on this one, and a beautiful spot on this circle, but still a couple more to go.
Нави упали на 4-й, ебать того урод. Вот сейчас могут твисты выйти в этот, как в топ.
Seeing where this next circle is going to be shifting into. Twisted Minds praying that's going to go their direction, but everybody else hoping it goes to that hill.
They just threw him a first aid kit.
Hey.
Here, buddy, what do you need?
Yeah, that shocks no one. Is Twisted Minds now going to have to move in. Solowski,
Но он чисто ее выкинул с рюкзака, и она упала вниз ему.
To put it mildly, Solowski is...
You can't bring that rock with him.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is not a Sisyphean rock that he could push down the hill with him, but he's got a Sisyphean task, no doubt about it. Ahead of him as you just fanning out on the edge, FaZe on the other side, Yahoo at the compound. Twisted Minds has to make a move. The real question is where are they going to find space? Are they going to
твисты не в зоне.
Well, you know, down to, you know, that uncomfortable but okay state.
Yeah,
1 HP.
Now we're going to see Twisted
Ну
Minds
сейчас могут ультануть третьи и забрать топ-1 вообще просто. Если ультанут здесь парочку. Еу или как они? Да.
Kind of smells what's brewing and are now moving up the eastern side of their hill and looking at it Twisted Minds and how they may rotate, but oh, Shinboy read that one and is not going to let it happen.
Yeah, fantastic 3x barrel spray there from Shinboy. That puts Patulins down. 3 more to go for Twisted Minds. Still Sololzi, a potential wild card in this fight. Grenade comes up short of doing any extra damage. Lou and company seeing if they can find a better angle. And Patulins finally going to be wiped off the board as Balefrost, you know, poking some shots at this Dacia rotation here. Twisted Minds doing everything they can to stay in this, but Sololzi's still on the other side.
While Twisted Minds is making this rotation, FaZe is actually collapsing onto United's positioning. Can he get anything off of this one? Creeping forward, this is going to be a Hail Mary just to try to pick up any points that he can. The moment his head raises up, he is going to die. But United already lining back up against this one. Rello fed that information back over to his teammates, and it is going to be just holding up. It's going to kickstart. That does get the down onto Gustav.
Можно пушить.
Airburst is going to hit, but not enough to dissuade anything. Throwables coming out onto both sides, and just look, it's a rainbow of colors going through there. Vex holds the line, but does get the down onto Rello, but now it is popping off.
Vex is going to get countered here by Flood. United looks like they might just be about to win this fight. Unless 18, he cannot do anything. It is Flood. It's 11 kills for United.
Now back up into the north, we still have Twisted Minds holding on in the slow and steady creeping crawl. out here. 17's not in here, so.
А он твистов по этого.
Man, Solalzi, I don't know what happened with his grenade. I was hoping he maybe get free, but.
И твисты ползут.
With that fight with United and FaZe, Yoho have now left their compound and they're moving to the hillside, and it looks like they're trying to aggress into EU.
Бля, нахуй кидать, тебе мог вон в зону заползти. Ёбаный в рот.
Just, you know, sneaking out all the placement points he can for Cerberus. They're up in
Ганс серверов 13%, ебать. Уюл, ну вот это. 53%.
United's front and is kind of just relaying the information back to the team. It's a 2-2 split for Yahoo as they want to make sure that Solalzi is done and dusted before they really commit to this EU fight. The question is
так он может подпушить сейчас всем. Если он увидит первых Еула, то он подпушит их и эти залетят в топчик.
And whenever we look at Cerberus, just letting the other two teams die, like one of them die, might buy them enough space to just kind of move up and crest back into Dano.
Yeah, you prefer that for sure, Solalzi. You want these two teams to beat the heck out of each other so you can swoop in and steal the victory.
Смотря, знаешь, что Цербер, если сейчас Йох подпушит чутка, убьет.
Now the push is on. Balefrost hot out of here. He does not want to be involved in this fight without the safety of his other teammates there. And you can see,
если Цербер поможет чутка им, то эти забирают топ-1.
They pushed Yahoo back enough that they have to regroup.
I'm looking at this map right now, and okay, so whenever we look at where the center dot is, it's actually pretty close to the compound where we saw Yahoo playing from. They can kind of move back in and have an easy track. United has to play this western side of the hill, and guess who has vision there?
Вот смотря кому он нервы подпушит. Кому он сделает добро и убьет челика. Понимать, что он слева есть у него.
It's like Belmoth 2.0 here. It's definitely not something you want to see as any United fan, no doubt. Yahoo just counter moving here. I like what they're doing. EU, you know, kind of with a show of
Йохи тогда забирают топ.
into a corner of the circle so they could wrap the other way. Yahoo now making the counter move to secure this house. They got to know Solalzi's back here. They got to know that somebody's chilling out in that corner, and if they can clear that, then we have a fair 4v4.
And now it's just about using the rocks, using the hillside. Any peak right now that connects, and this is the X factor, and I mean it is a big X factor. So, yeah, Snakers spotted out some feetsies, and that means that the shots are going to come out, and Yoho already knows where they're at, and now they're both going to be like, nah, bro, you don't get to mess this one.
Он встал.
4v4.
Он встал. Ему не надо было вставать. Он встал, и его спалили.
We go dead center into phase 9, so that means smokes are going to abound for both sides to try to cover their angles. You can see it is going to be kickstart kind of on the point here for the side of EU. Relo on the edge. Snakers and Flood currently in the middle of the formation. Sort of a wedge formation for Yahoo towards the center. And I mean, you gotta put Sparking. He's got 4 kills. He's your ace in the hole. Relo spotted out. A decent amount of damage done. Bunich backs up, happy with what he's done. And Shimboy's got the knock.
Got to be careful, though, with this one. Snaker's still playing back behind it. The information could be valuable for EU United to work with. Sparking on the opposite end of this one. You can see the press coming in, and Balefrost takes down Kickstart, and that was going to be the key component. Now it is just a 2v4. Numbers for Yoho moving forward into it, trying to play the smoke. Snakers now reveals his position, taking the shots, but it's so many different variables. Now the assault's going to be coming in. Bunich takes the damage and has to step away. Sparking now moves up, picks up another one. 1v4 lined up. Does manage to get the knock onto one, but it is not going to be near enough as Yoho pick up themselves a victory.
There you go. A very solid game, stable game from Yoho. Sure, the compound was in the circle for quite a while, but the way they managed the late game, no mistakes made sure they cleared the rat, didn't overextend towards EU, you know, pulled back at the right time, got the information they needed, and made a really nice setup there at the end. And Balefrost, you know, doing a great job. They get the opening knock on the Relo. Bale there
сейчас перерыв походу будет.
Sparking up in the middle on point. Great setup, great execution from Yo.
Yep, and that's going to be hard for United to have to deal with. This is their home territory. This is a circle that they play well. They had the tools, they had the utility, and that fight just came apart on them. More aggressive side of Yoho paying off.
Yeah, this was beautiful from them. I mean, I love the way they handled the end of this. It's not an easy fight by any stretch of the imagination against a really good team. And, you know, speaking of good teams, I think I want to hear what the desk has to say.
Well, I am excited to see a big victory from a new team as Yoho does come out on top, but I gotta be honest, it is going to be one that the North American crews talk about nonstop. I'm Taviz, I'm joined by Toby and Avenger here on the desk as we break down the win from Yoho. They played it very well, but E-United had a chance to take the top spot, and these are two teams that there is no love lost between them. E-United's going to hate this.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. I saw Solonsi, maybe he was going to get a little more impact in that end game there as well, but fortunately taken down before Chaos came around.
It was actually given from United. The information was given. They heard what direction they were shooting at, right? Then sparking instantly. I know. Then they saw him, started running, boom. Spike was able to close that down there. And honestly, in general, I love this 4 versus 4, 5 potentially. Like, there's so much on the line for these guys there. It's insane. I love that. But the advantage was actually on your host side in terms of terrain, in terms of coming out of safe cover. United had to fight face first, then they had to fight off Yahoo for the backside push when they were resting. And in general, Yahoo had this in the back because of also where they were from the circle side.
I mean, you said they have it in the back, but I feel like Yahoo was being extremely proactive when the circle went up to them. Instead of just sitting in the compound waiting things out, they wrap out on the east side, but they cannot fully commit to it because 2 teams with 4 alive, they see 9 alive in the leaderboard. There is a snake somewhere. We cannot go full on this one because we could get backstabbed. So they push up, they make sure that E-United can't do anything to wrap towards them, and then once they force back the other way, that's when they come back to the compound again.
And the end of the match, there is a Rockets red glare. There were bombs bursting in the air, and ultimately Yoho comes out on top. And I do want to remind everyone, if you go all the way back to the early brackets, the winner's bracket, E-United got a kill from Sky Garden that got Yoho into this bracket. And so in a way, Yoho pays them back with a chicken dinner steal.
For this as well, a huge win in this case here. They're going to be able to propel them up the leaderboards. This good motivation for going into the rest of the grand final here. United as well, 11 kills, guys, and look at the amount of smokes that they had to use, 23.
I feel like United, while it was an amazing game for them, they also really reaped the rewards of Overpeakers stumbling, I would say, on the side of mini mills of power. I mean, we see James trying to come back and trying to help out Clip, who was kind of stuck up in that position. Had they just left that for Clip to play on his own, then they take the fight to take me away once they left, that would have been United having to leave that compound with 3 Overpeakers right next to them. But Overpeakers take the fight, they commit to it, they fall. That makes so much more space for United to push out.
They also know with the drive down to the other ridge, they had an idea that there's going to be more space, but they just had so many vehicles that are able to hide behind. So it wasn't an advantage. Obviously, they got the kill on Freaks, but got that point, so that's fine. But still, either play on the side where 17 Gaming ended up, or something else would maybe have been more beneficial if they knew about all the vehicles that there was in the cover.
Yeah, E-United benefited doubly from that. Not only did they watch the fight, but they got to steal some of those kills in the process.
Flood, though, in this fight versus FaZe Clan, he demolished FaZe Clan.
Oh
my god.
Crucial not only that they win the fight, but win the fight without taking casualties and get the fight over with quickly before the teams left alive could really get off the position to it.
It was actually just, and it was a ton of fun to honestly watch that fight go down. There was multiple 4v4s, which you always love to see. And I did say United's going to be disappointed with losing to Yoho, but it's not. They picked up 11 kills, second place. The chase is on, as this will open the door for them to close that gap with 17. Twisted Minds, I think, pretty significantly.
I mean,
as for the sake of the leaderboard, though, we would love to see an United win, so they could have been, going into the last match of the day, it would have been extremely close. But I love to see Yoho being able to step up here in this case, especially, sparking, popping off.
And while United has been climbing the leaderboards down towards the bottom, okay, this time around, Na'Vi does manage to find 6 kills, but that is back-to-back finishes outside of the top 10. Na'Vi night and day in terms of performances, but that is unfortunately also the Na'Vi that we know.
And they come hot and cold, but we'll see what they do as we have one more game left to play. Twisted Minds 17, both finishing outside of that top 4, but putting some points on the board. And a big shout out, of course, to Overpeakers, who always seems to show up in the mix somehow. Yoho takes the win. Look at the damage. Balefrost, 890.
Almost 1K club. But only 2 kills. But for sure in this case here, when you're able to dish out so much damage, also the 2-2 split they had, in general, they were able to put so much damage to all the teams peeking around the right. Classic Balefrost in this case here.
This is also, if you go back to sort of that, we watched a little bit of an interview with Punij earlier, and he talked about our plan is to work as hard as we can, do our best, plan and build for 2023. It's a very young club, and the fact that they're coming out with a chicken dinner in the grand finals and a performance like this, even if they don't end up in the top 5 at the end of this whole thing, this is going to be a huge confidence booster.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And the way they did it too, I mean, the position they're playing from, yes, they do get to do a lot of damage, but they need to do a lot of damage because that is crashable compounds. We've seen it time and time again where teams try and pull up and manage to take away the compounds from them, but they manage to stay alive throughout all of it.
Going into the last game of the day, 17 manages to hold on to the lead at 93, Twisted Minds at 92. E-United is closing that gap with only a 10-point chase now when we started with a much bigger gap. The top teams have left the door cracked, Martin.
Honestly, this grand final and so far after 9 games, it's one of the closest and most exciting grand finals we've had. It's insane. Yes, Navi fall behind a little bit, but one good game still. They're still kind of latching onto that top 4. But the gap, Toby, from 4th to 5th and beyond. I mean, oh my God.
You say it's one of the closest. Yeah, sure, the closest between 4 teams.
Yeah.
The remaining 12, I mean, they are sinking by the second. I mean, they really need to get something together if they want to come back, and there's anyone sitting 5th and below.
Well, you know, you brought this up earlier, Martin, the fact that when you go to the middle, they're separated. It's $5,000 between placements, lots of money on the line. Do you think the compactedness of that middle is slowing down some of those teams? Like they're aware of, they don't want to take risks because the difference between 5th and 14th is only a few points.
I just think it's the top 3 teams that are slowing down everyone.
That's fair. It's hard. Whenever someone's sucking up all of those points, there's not a lot of options for you. The mid-pack, though, I think they're trying. These circles have been tough. That one in particular, I mean, that first circle was, what, 60%?
It was a lot of water. We heard the crowd as well go, ooh. Like when the crowd gasped the way that they did that was no doubt. That was a tough one to start with.
Well, let's see if we can make the crowd gasp one more time when we get back from the break. It is the final match of day 2 here at PGC 2022.
they call Callisto the Dead Moon. Dead. Gives me chills every time. Things are changing. They're evolving.
Yeah, I mean, Yahoo is going to need some help from QN, but they're going to get through. Navi's grenades are great. Day Trade is wiped out in a heartbeat.
But he is the defending line, playing along this line right now. It is going to be Dante that goes down.
To keep the pressure on here for Donawa. They know they have QM on the back foot. Lou's still out in the blue. Will he play a factor in this fight? Soldier's going to spray down the...
So Donawa now is going to move more into the smokes along this line, trying to block out where Wildcard is going to be sitting at. That is going to be question mark going down. But now has Wildcard managed to find an angle to work with his Lou.
Into Donawa, just soul left. Spraying over the top of the hill does quite a bit of damage. Looking for the finish on a Greg shot. Gonna find the point, at least 12 kills. To run for the cover in front of him on the hills, and that sets up Patulans perfectly for these nades.
What is 17 wanting to do with this? Throwable's now coming out, and this is just going to be all she wrote. Question mark.
Guangdong Freaks on the beach rotation. TMA is right here, though. Crazy and Yuppie. They're going to start spraying right away. Lash takes a bunch of damage. He is gone. EN, though, and the rest of them coming. What a spray from Crazy.
Crazy doing a great job here. He just demolishes the freak. Need a big connect. Yep, but still not a down. Follow-up? Nah, Molotov's not going to hit it.
That might have been a good grenade from Show. It's right on the money. 2 down for E United. Kickstart out on the northeast edge as he watches the rest, and he's just going to...
Hates land pretty close. 777 has an angle onto it, and oh my god, Day Trade was not expecting that one.
This guy's been absolutely nuts with the AR,
40 секунд.
but it's just on to 777 now.
Нави что-то сдали чутка. От топ-4 их пока сместили. Твист сейчас. 18-я команда как закрепилась, второй день. Не отдает топ. Йохи тоже ультанули. Цербера и Йохи ультанули. Цербера сразу. Аж 49-й. Сейчас карту возьмут. Вот он. Понеслась. Смотрим раскатку. Куда кто прыгнет.
Here we are moving into the next game, our halfway point for the day, or actually halfway point for the entirety of the event, as it has now gotten much more spicy. Yes, E United did not walk away with the victory, but now have managed to at least get into a point where they can start assaulting that #1 spot.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, they're making a steady march forward. They've leapfrogged Na'Vi up into 3rd place now. Kickstart is now our top damage dealer, almost 4,000 damage in 9 games. Absolutely brutal stuff coming out of him. Blood now into 4th, so you know, just the whole team is really firing on all cylinders. I know they're probably going to be a bit disappointed with a couple of the games today and how they shaked out in the end, but still, they're still doing a really good job. They're taking good fights in the mid game in particular, giving themselves at least a shot in the late game.
I was joking around with you as an America's caster, I have to say that kind of ended up better for our region as a whole, as Yoho did need the points more and now is only 1 point back behind Day Trade and now gives them a much needed momentum boost.
Oh yeah, in terms of just like, you know, if you want parity in the leaderboards, yeah, that one went pretty good for everybody else below there, but still, it looks like that 4th place to 5th place margin may very well be about 20 points like Kickstart predicted to me at lunch today before we came here. So a Northern Circle, we get a different one. I mean, at least, hey, our circles are different. We're getting various ones today. It's been all over the maps. Everybody's getting equal opportunity to, you know, be angry at the way the circle goes.
Yeah, I mean, that's always what social media is about, right?
Just being angry about circles, yeah.
RNGesus, why do you do
yes,
this to
why
me?
do you do this to me? And it's not. It's almost like, you know, there's actually just good teams that have been good for years in PUBG esports, and it's almost like there's a reason. I mean, yeah.
I'm done with this.
It's almost like RNG doesn't make that big of a difference in this game if you're good.
Consistency is king, as Sparking finds himself king with 5 kills inside that one. Flood coming back in, as well as Mexi. You have to remember the fact that we've been seeing a lot of bounce back in this area.
Проверку сразу взял.
This very weird recipe for success that I'm loving to watch.
They're fun. I mean, you know, let's set the clock on who's going to die first here. I'm seeing this time it's Clib out on his own, so
dude,
put
1 point away from 5th place behind Navi is, and Overpeaker's doing it.
I know, dude. They're getting it done, and you love to see it. I mean, again, a unbelievably talented group of players in that squad. So some of the maybe the most experience at internationals.
I have to talk about this team for a second because I consider this to be one of the potential future of the Americas region whenever we look at it, as it's pretty diverse across. Yeah, Yoho, as we do have a Latin American player that is playing with North American players, and we got a couple of splashes of different stuff that's going on inside of it. So this is kind of like one of our first teams that is kind of the embodiment of what Americas could become. Kind of 2 sub-regions.
Ну, он в зоне.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think, you know, in terms of that, absolutely. I think United is probably right now got a higher. Well, I mean, it's obvious, but you know, just coming into this, then I would have predicted
that
United
rosters. I'm not going to go after the point totals.
No, I know, but I'm talking about like potential. I mean, I would have put United ahead of Yahoo on my. In fact, I did on my power rankings. But look, they still Yahoo is. I mean, Sparking for me is one of those players who the sky is the limit for him. I wouldn't be surprised if next year at PGC we're talking about Sparking as one of the 5 best players at the event. The guy is a grinder. You know, you talk to him and he eats, sleeps, and breathes PUBG. He wants to be the best. It is something that he thinks about and talks about and works for. So for me, you know, book it, clip it, you know, 1 year from now, Sparking, top 5 player at PGC.
He's one of those guys also, when you talk to him, it's like it inspires you to want to be better just because he's so passionate about it.
Yes.
Like, he's so happy to put in the work. Like, the only way I can kind of like joke about it every once in a while is he just kind of feels like the Naruto of PUBG. Like, he just wants it so bad and is always working so hard and is so positive and believes that he's going to get there.
He's in a shonen anime arc.
He is in his own anime and he thinks he's going to get it. And, I mean, last game proves the fact that he's on the path.
No doubt. Individually, he is just beyond belief. So, you know, and his team's very good behind him. I know we talk a lot about him, but everybody behind him on that Yoho squad is got a lot of potential, a bright future. So a team that, yeah, absolutely I love to watch play. I'm very excited they got here in one of the most tense moments there to squeak into that 8th place slot in the winner's bracket. So, you know, big congratulations, and now they're putting up wins up to 10th place. As, you know, Twisted Minds just watching Navi drive on by, and Navi, it's starting to slow down a little bit for them. This is kind of a game where maybe they can bounce back, get some momentum underneath them, and kind of find that sort of just unbelievable firepower that we know they're capable of. God, these minis are just nuts for Twisted Minds. They're so good.
Yeah, this is, we do see the fact that Navi is going to get into position,
I
don't think that they're really wanting to stay along this Rajak positional, so they might continue along that bridge, but they get there. they get there. That's really what matters.
They got there. That's, you know.
Сейчас будет
They
стычка.
got there right around the
But
same
it
time
could be
17's looking at
a
them.
bridge too far.
Yeah. Now let's see.
I mean, 17 here is kind of using Suju. You know, they're going to maybe try to bait Navi into Suju. Little Ghost just got popped in the head, though. That feels bad.
Man, that was just like a 6th sense spinning back around. So now,
look at these grenades. Look at how well coordinated these are.
Oh, man, he's just bouncing those around. And that's going to be a vehicle gone, but Navi at least going to get back into this pretty clean.
Look at the timing and the coordination on the angles. You know, those grenades landing almost at the exact same time. That's just beautiful communication, beautiful teamwork from 17, but a good escape there for Navi. You know, like you said, they're going to have to sack a lot of smokes in a vehicle for that.
Here's the issue, though. 17 likes to push stuff. They aren't going to just kind of let this one chill where it's at. I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be a continual hunt and trying to see if they can get a knock. And I wouldn't, if they know who's next to them, because right now they don't
Работает,
really
работает
know. If they get a knock
724.
and know who's next to them, that's going to be it.
Oh, and
They're going to go.
think about how good they are at fighting in cities, Matt. I mean, there's a reason they're the kings of Pachinki and Picado. Very few teams will mess with them. I'd say the only team that was at this event that probably could have was SGD, but they didn't get this far. So very rare to see Soul with an M24. He had
Перетяжка от EU.
a preferred rifle, or,
Посмотрим.
you know, sniper rifle for him. He is a DMR guy through and through, but Donawat seemingly had to cut loot a bit early to try to get ahead of the river. They wanted to be one of those teams that didn't get stuck on the bad side like we're seeing with Navi. So, you know, sometimes you got to make those, you know, those sort of calculations.
I've just got to call it out because it makes me happy, because it never gets any love. West Georgia Pole Bridge, got some people that are driving across it. You can see the TMA just made their cross. It doesn't get
This
very
bridge
much
gets
traffic.
a lot of love in Asia.
Well,
I'm just going to say, a lot of teams use this bridge in Asia.
I mean, it happens every once in a while, but it just, I don't know. Like, whenever we go on the Americas side of this one, I just never really seem to see anybody that...
Да уже идет, сейчас
I'm always
походу
kind
из
of
Нави
like
одного
curious
нокает.
about how, like, weird little
Нет.
things like that, regional differences play out, because, like, I see teams use that bridge all the time in Asia, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're doing it.
Точек не
It does
хватило.
get use. It's just not like, I don't know. It's just not a very
Not
common
common?
thing.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Twisted Minds, though, are definitely living up to the way they've been commonly playing this one. And while Navi did get into this position, because they've got Perfectix on one side and Ghost on the other, and
He's playing with a ton of confidence here, Matt. I mean, to push out to this position, to feel that the rest of his team has him secure like that, because that's a pretty exposed area on that hill. And now you've kind of put Navi in sort of a tricky spot where they're getting peppered by 17. So Twisted Minds understands that they have Navi in a not great spot, right? But the problem for Twisted Minds is they have like a couple teams potentially coming up behind him. And I say that, and FaZe might just pull up and fight QM.
I'm waiting to see if we manage to keep all 4 overpeakers up. Maybe it's just it. They level up whenever they lose one. They all just get stronger. It's a cumulative power, right? And so whenever one of them dies, the other ones just get like, what, 33% stronger?
That's yeah, they're like Saiyans, right? They get really close to death, and then they just
Сейчас
power right
закроет одного.
I'll let that one go, yes. I will agree. So now I've made a Naruto reference, you've made a Dragon Ball Z reference, and the entirety of the chat is either going wild or raging.
These stupid weebs, what's going on?
Oh, Gustav, though, has got himself an angle onto question mark, and he's going to take some damage, but now he's going to move into the shack of creepy dolls, and that's also going to probably be followed up by a couple of Molotovs, as his last sight is going to be something absolutely terrifying.
Уже добили, убили. А его ёбнули уже. У этих тоже 1-1 в размен пошли.
Diggory is going to get Hobbits. Now, how aggressive does FaZe want to be this? I mean, Hobbits is out in the open here. The rest of QM trying to fill in to save him. But
Почему
both
отстает?
teams here doing a lot of damage to each other, and Fex is, you know, such a talented individual player, and it is going to shift already, mostly away from the water, mostly up to the northwest. So maybe shooting range circle this time.
Hey, well, we'll have to see how
Зона,
we move into
конечно,
this one as
пиздец
the South is gonna
северный.
continue to
Ебало.
press. Really, it's not going to be too much more. It's more of this like 17 Navi Twisted Minds situation that I'm going to keep a close eye on as FaZe does get distance away. It's going to be Freaks, though, that do get shooting range. Now I see why he wanted a shooting range circle.
I actually didn't even really notice that it was the Freaks in there, I swear. I just really wanted a shooting range circle. I like them. They're fun.
Well, it's going to be Batulins taking some pot shots at tires, and I know Poro's going to be happy because he loves them tires.
Oh yeah,
pop
that's
numbers.
he's got some weird thing about that. You know, I don't know. He just really is keen on that. You guys used to keep track of that.
Yeah, we still do.
That's a little weird, but
hey, it's not our fault. The API keeps track of it. We just want to look at it.
No, I know, I get it. I mean, because you can get like in game, right?
Yeah.
You can get the missions, right? The weekly missions or the daily missions to pop tires. So yeah, it absolutely has
You can
to
also
keep
see
track
like who's been running over those fences, all kinds of fun stuff. Like
that's actually pretty cool.
We'll have to.
Oh yeah, that's something you don't want to encourage players to do. They're just
Машину
gonna,
подрезали.
smash through every fence.
It did get to be a problem for a while where there was like a race between two different players to see who could pop the most tires, and it was pretty competitive.
I mean, that's something.
I mean, they were also winning, and
well,
usually,
that's okay, then.
if you're popping, the reason why is where the joke comes from is the fact that if you're popping tires, then the fact that you're also denying rotations, other things like that.
They weren't just like pulling up along the road and like popping all the tires, getting back in, and driving down the road.
It's actually kind of a precursor sign to you having a lot of control over circles and territory.
It is. Yeah, absolutely it is.
So,
it is important.
Jokes aside, it is actually useful.
No, it is. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's just kind of funny. It's like
well, it's just kind of, it is funny. Be like, oh my God, look, he's got #1 pop tires. Now Poro, I already know is looking. I'm looking back at him at the desk here.
He's like pulling up the stats right now. It's it is kind of funny. Himas has overview of what is going on to the west here, and there are a couple teams that are trying to go west. You have Day Trade and FaZe, with Cerberus doing a 2-2 split on both, so 2 on each bridge. FaZe going to be touched up by the blue.
Тебя могут закрыть.
Hear this and see this. Let's see if we can find the knock. Gonna have to switch to the AR. Oh, they should have AC here.
If they can make it, they might be able to survive. But no, AC's gonna go down. Diggory out in the zone, just gonna be trying to roam away from this one. He's being sent very far into the west, but there is nobody else in front of him. He can pretty much go all the way to the coastline now, as he does get some safety away from it. Day Trade still has to move as well, and they're still out there. I don't know if they're wanting to come along the same path. They saw this, and Isaac sees them.
This is rather awkward now for Day Trade. I mean, it is phase 2 blue, so if they have enough health stored up, they could actually go for that far bridge that you so love. That far western bridge and make a long rotation. James gets a knock on to Perfectix, going to try to follow up.
Ой-ой-ой, твистов одного ёбнули.
Short of the flush for that first couple grenades. In fact, I don't think they could quite get them into range to get the job done.
While we were watching some of the randomness, we did see all the teams that were in Rajak move forward, so that means that Twisted Mind's going to be over here next to Overpeakers, as well as 17 just to the west of the Na'Vi, went to that more western route, and is going to be right along the roads, as you can see at the bottom of that circle. It's going to be moving kind of close to Cerberus, but not so much that it's scary. The things that we're still keeping an eye on is right underneath where the action is going to be happening. So it does lean into that Saverny side, and that's this is... Okay, I'm about where we're going to be going, as Diggory is now going to finally make his appearance on the map, right back behind the action.
This is a feels bad man circle. This is heavy breathing, not a lot of open space. Danawa trying to maneuver right alongside Twisted Mind. Spyro got the knock onto Helen. Danawa, are they just going to try to take this fight? Vexy's here as well. Overpeaker's showing up to the party. It is chaos. Salute's going to go down. Danawa's wiped.
This is what Overpeakers wants. They just jump into the thick of it. Twisted Minds is like, what is even happening? Now it's going to be Bard on the outside. It's just raining in damage. This is just absolute catastrophe coming off from Twisted Minds. Overpeakers is eliminated. Navi's having the same problem. They're trying to cross in a different direction. And this is just horrible for so many teams so suddenly.
Yeah, Na'Vi almost wiped out. Batulin's at least finding some value out of this. The knock on to Greg shot. Na'Vi has to go for the shooting range, but there's a grenade right here. Lash K is waiting. Oh, what a turn by example. The grenade is going to get him. Now you just need EN to finish the job. He gets the point. You have the prone member, Uba, hiding, trying to go for the heal. If that grenade is good enough, it should finish it. Oh, nope.
Okay, well, that's just really weird. Now as EN is going to go down, Uba is going to put in the work off of it. What are we going to be able to do here is Navi's last hope, trying to cling to life, just trying to navigate what is just a hard fight to win. And another Throwable's going to come in and finish that one out. Navi is done for the day. As now we're going to take an eye back into the circles. It is also Cerberus that here's what's going to be going on with TE moving into their side. When we look at this, really, it's just E United and 17 that are in our top 4 and been fighting it out that are still at 4.
Сейчас 17 счет настреляет, она уже второй день держит топ-1.
There's a good reason for it. This circle shift into phase 3. Everybody knows
Они уже у них 2, но у них уже счет 4 живых, ебать.
And I totally respect it. I mean, I think everybody that went for that compound and that crash with Twisted Minds, with Donawa, with OP. They had every right to. You got to find some kind of space in this circle because there is going to be some room on the edge, but it's going to get cluttered, especially on the southwest side. Towards the center, though, you can already see if you're looking at your map, there's not a lot of teams there, and there's a darn good reason for it. It is a wasteland.
Ninja 2K has got a... you could say that he's smelling a team around him at the time.
Возможно.
Doesn't quite manage to spot out them just yet.
Is that 'cause he's
Да нет, не будет гранд-финала, мне
Is
кажется.
that what you were going for?
Вот суперфинал 4 дня будет
No, it
идти.
was a reach, but it's fine. Look, finally does manage to spot out Tycon.
Ну, 17 по 20 будет идти, и все, 3 дня.
There you go. 777.
Гранд-финала не будет, мне кажется.
And no, actually 777 is got to be
Ну,
careful
суперфинала
now.
не будет.
This is just a very weird point to play from, and 17 keeps walking
А я сегодня посмотрел, не будет.
Yeah, well, you've got both of our Vietnamese teams there squaring up with Duck Juice trying to watch the hill line with Hemes. STE has to kind of be on the outside looking in. Ninja 2K there gets the knock and the flush here onto high. Actually, nope, Hikari stole the point, but still it clears some space here for the Expendables as now they turn their attention down to Salalzi and the knock player Tycon.
United's just going to go ahead and regroup and get themselves one of the bunkers to play from. It's off center of circle. Cerberus still out in this no man's land of problems with TE as Levi's is moving closer into 17, but that's kind of kicking the hornet's nest. Ninja 2K, who kind of started off this whole thing, now finding himself kind of multiple angles of problems.
Yeah, it isn't the easiest here for the Expendables. Hemas trying to find a bit of a counter angle to the push for the Expendables, but there's a lot of smoke in the way, so right now there isn't too much that he can see. A grenade is going to at least force Ninja 2K back for a moment and give Cerberus a little bit of space to maneuver.
Oh, now going to be moving right into TMA's sight line. Okay, good. They're like, okay, somebody's got to be in that compound already, so just pass through, take the bullets on one side. Can you survive it? No. Duck Juice is going to go ahead and find gold.
Yeah, they tried to escape the clutches of the Expendables, but TMA was in the way, so they're like, oh, I guess we just got to go back to this fight now and see if we can do anything with it. But, I mean, TE's position is just pretty superior. The numbers as well make it pretty easy, and that's a good grenade to follow it up.
Yeah, this is just taking one problem and making another one. Hamas did manage to at least get into a pretty decent spot, so might be playing for some placement points depending on how this one goes. Let's see, looking back into this one, we also have the Freaks that are going to have to contend with Day Trade, who's moving
18-й, видишь, они от зоны играют.
17 Gaming is getting some good vision in a lot of what's going on, and seeing if maybe they can pick up a couple of knocks or kills in all of this. We still have Entropic, Question Mark, Day Trade, Freaks, all needing to get into a more comfortable spot.
Yeah, Lil Ghost has been knocked. It's been a rough day for Lil Ghost, considering how just otherworldly he was yesterday. Flash finds some kind of safety, I guess, but that's still outside of the next circle. You know, the Freaks are going to start throwing in their frags. Reload from long range, trying to find that finish on to Nurin's. A good shot there. It's actually Lucarux who got that. Lulu always now springs into action, gets the knock onto a COD, gets the flush. Actually, it's going to be Shao Hai. So the Freaks trying to hold this fence line, but yeah, but TMA's got the overwatch.
Sorry, Diggory is inside the circle, and he's kind of close to this, and so he's watching what's going on with Entropic. Flash still got to move in as the zone is coming in and causing a lot of problems. That's going to go ahead and be Day Trade eliminated. United has spotted out Diggory, as you can see the fact the question mark is going to be roaming right into where he's at. Is he going to be able to spot him and jumps through, and Entropic is eliminated?
Ran himself over, but it was cool. I appreciate the style points at the very least. Nice try by QM here. It's a really challenging position. Aduzi trying to rescue teammates. Smokes are going to be out. It looks like they're kind of okay. I don't think United has an angle down into this. It's really just Diggory the only problem. And a solo player typically isn't going to be able to do too much about this with all these smokes that are out. So, yeah, I think QM's okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a while for them to reset before they can move, but they don't have too far to go in circle. United will see them once they try to go in the circle, though. But United has to make a move of their own. Wildcard still holding down Crossroads, feeling pretty good about it. Yahoo, only team that's really on the opposite side of this road, except for two members of Wildcard. Twisted Minds are still down there, as this is just going to be the continuation of the shooting range. As wow, this is about to get lit. We've got TE that's going to be coming in back behind what's going on with Freaks, as well as TMA. 17's going to be trying to cross in front of this one, as well as having Twisted Minds spot out. So the United still looking what's going on with QM, as Diggory is trying to make his path into the circle. And now it is just getting to be full on chaos. Everybody's sending it in. Who can you run over at any given time? 17 does manage to try to write this one up. Multiple members down for 17. But the issue is, TE still has some vision into this.
Yeah, Twisted Minds here, if they can get on top of this hill, but it looks like there's
Не,
a
не
lot of
дадут.
teams shooting at them. They can't finish the job onto 17, or at least try to. But Tulins really wanted to. You know that he wants to take 17 out of this game as soon as possible. So now, finally,
Граната.
is up and over. The first one bounces just a bit too far, but it is enough to clean out Show. Lil Ghost now attempting to be rezzed, and he is up and running. Can he get the heal off?
How much of this does Twisted Mind want to contend with? They realize where it's at, and oh my god, just narrowly dodging out that nade that moves in front of him. Now starting to return the volleys between them. Twisted Minds doesn't want to move too far into it as the Freaks are eliminated. TE still has to make a move as it's going to be EU United taking shots. They still have to come into the circle as well, as it's going to be a full-on pincered fight between the remnants of Question Mark as well as Wildcard and Dickory, who's still trying to find a way into the circle and somehow doing it.
Well, he's going to have to take a fight here momentarily. Snakers knows it. He's got to play some good defense for United. Reload just res, needs to get that heal off in time. Start this fight. Grenades are out. This should be Dickory down and dusted.
Yeah.
Indeed, yeah, really well coordinated there by EU. Phase out in 8th. At least you get a placement point for Dickory.
And now, well, let's look at how this is going to go as TE is now hopped in vehicles and moving very close to 17, as this is going to be a continual throwable fiesta that's happening over here. Yoho still playing opposite side of the road. Question Mark now at least joining them, but very far to the north. Is this is really what we're looking at, is it's going to be EU United trying to pack into this, as they're going to have QM, Wildcard, TE maybe seeing them. They managed to make the first couple of rotations cleaner than most other people, but now maybe with what's happening 17 TE, Twisted Minds, there might be an opportunity for United to
Черная
at least
лошадка.
make it in the zone, but that's not the way you want to go, United.
Oh, God.
Едут прямо саживать.
People, a grenade gets Levies from 17. It's a doozy. And QM, Relo at least able to find the finish onto TE as they're going to take this position. Now they have 17 above them. Twisted Minds as well drifting in this. I mean, our top 3 teams all bunched up on the southwest end.
And now it's all about trying to juke out these throwables. E United is leaning back away, but it is going to connect with one of them. Now it's about what can you continue to do. Punaj, who looked like he was trying to move out, is getting Twisted Mind that spots this. Now, Kickstart has to be very, very careful. He's playing in the smokes, trying to move forward. He is the last one up for E United, and 17 Gaming is finding ways to succeed. Still at 7 kills, finally past the 100-point mark.
Yeah, great spot out there by Nikos and a point in the bag. Batulin's trying to suss out where 17 is. This grenade, if it's on point, it is just a bit off. The follow-up here, he's still got a ton of frags. Batulin's can just absolutely make it rain here, just trying to go fishing for 17, but somehow, some way, all of these have been missing.
He's fishing with dynamite and is finding absolutely nothing. Problem is, 17 still needs to move. Twisted Mind's also going to have to make some type of rotation. Yoho in a pretty good spot, as well as Wildcard, as the potential for another double-up American ending could be happening here pretty quick. As Wykick Mukow gets spray in, Dante is going to go out. Wow, that is just a quick jump out coming out from Question Mark.
Oh, there's no reinforcements here. Nikos couldn't find the angle in time. I mean, QM is on slivers of health between the two of them, but there was nothing he could do. He's stuck up top with all those mollies, though. Grenade at least not going to get into him. He's throwing frags down, hoping he can finish the job, but the first aids have come through. Meanwhile, 17 now has to crash the other side.
Where are they coming into this one? Are they going to stop on the opposite side and make the foot push across? Adam's already left and now around the outside of this building, and they're just making the push in. That is going to be Question Mark going down, but new contender in 17. Here's the firefight. They want to move in. They spot out Adam, and that was a clean pickup.
That is a nasty spray from Suju. Batulins get taken out by Shao. Woo! And now you have Spyro coming in on the drive. Head available there on that US. It's one shot. Can he get the other? No.
He does close the door, but that's not going to be enough time to work with. And now Yoho is just watching what is going on between Wildcard and 17, and looks like it could be a good day for Yoho.
All right, Nikos, can you hold on here? Adam has been flushed. You have the info. He's going to try to play a little bit forward, see if he can catch 17 off guard a bit. Looking up and over the fence line. The heads there not really exposing themselves for Nikos to make the spray just yet. He has a ton of smokes to work with. Going to smoke off the backside, and Yoho going to use this opportunity to gain some space.
They don't have any vision on 17's side of the approach, so well played by them, realizing where the assault's going to be coming from, keeping their backs right up against that blue zone. His crates are even on top of walls inside of this compound. It's absolutely wild. Nikos, though, last one up, is just kind of more harassing and annoying what's going on with 17, who are still holding up their 3. Looks like he is going to get spotted out. Doesn't take too much damage, though, but really, the longer this goes on, Yoho's trying to find an angle. Nikos does get the drop on a little ghost and gets the flush as well. Now 17 is going to be walking into a firmly entrenched Yoho.
Oh, an absolutely phenomenal hold there from Nikos. I mean, making the best of a bad situation, gets a ton of kills in the process. Yoho, 2 players of 17 versus their 4-man Punij on Overwatch. You got Shinboy driving around trying to find a good
Ёки,
position to cover his
получается,
teammates.
две карты заберут.
Up front by the Rock will be covering the center of the circle as best as they can, and you can see that. Look at what 17 has to work with, Matt. It is not the
Если
best.
только зона сейчас к нему идет, к 17-му, будет пиздец, Йохан.
About most they can work with, all of them just in
Get the jumper cables. We gotta restart the cars.
I mean, they can just kind of roll a couple of them back there, right? Lord knows how many are in front. Yep, we're going to be switching over to Yoho's view because that's they got control.
Honestly, this is one of the situations where if there was a bolt in one of these houses, I might just pick it up and go for it. I mean, you never know. Like with the SLRs too, of course. You know, the double tap can get the job done. But I mean, 17 here is in a unbelievably difficult position. I cannot stress enough how hard this is. Now, it is only phase
they did get a circle
7,
too.
so they could get another circle.
Yeah.
But this is tough.
Oh my God, we're in a 4v2. It's phase number 7. We could be buckled into this one for a while. So it's going to be Yoho making a very aggressive move in. They're not going to send it all the way, but you see that Chao is going to go ahead and throw out a nade to make sure that that was not going to be a crash. So 17 backs against the wall. Yoho still holding control over the circle. I like the fact that they're at least leaning into double ups, but they did move into throwable range. So Yoho going to go ahead and read that one as this is really a game of dodgeball.
Yeah, there could be quite a few frag grenades still littered on the ground as there's quite a few dead bodies.
Couple bodies.
Yeah, there's a few.
I think that's kind of what they're doing. You see them scavenging around.
Yeah,
they
they're looking. They're like, do you see any more over here? Are there any around this corner? Do you find any? Let's throw a few more. And that's going to at least push Yoho back for a moment. However, you know, again, they're just going to be able to kind of push and pull this territory. And as long as they don't make too big of a positional mistake, they should be able to hold this, especially with that UAS there as kind of a little bit of extra cover. Yeah, I mean, again, this is really, really challenging for 17.
Okay, so Zhao Wu looks like he's going to be trying to cover the top of this. That means the pressure is going to mount. This is, I mean, that's what they were going around collecting. They still got frags too. This is, they went shopping.
They might be able to do this with this many smokes, with 15 smokes between the two of them. The fact that Yoho is still right by this rock. Oh,
Punij just suddenly just has it dropped on top of him. Suju, though, has got to be careful. He takes a lot of damage, a lot of pressure now onto Punij. As you can see, Yoho now has stepped up into 5th place, a massive climb today, as there's still the potential for even more. 17 Gaming still wanting to play this one slow, realizing the fact that tempo is all about what they're trying to set up around. The longer that they can try to stall out, the longer they can make Yoho just frustrated. There's a chance that an error could happen that they could exploit.
I mean, this could be back-to-back games for Yoho, and this could be the resurgence of the Americas region. You already had EU up there, Yoho trying to catch up. Na'Vi, you know, we all know about Na'Vi and Twisted Minds, how well they have been playing. Yoho wants to show that Americas is no slouch. How did that just got stuck in between the US and the Rock? I mean, that's why you put that US there. It does a lot more than just offer you cover. It kind of blocks those grenades.
17, what do you have to work with? More smokes now starting to come out. I mean, I like this. Yeah, this is exactly what I was expecting them to do. Drop a couple, run back. Drop a couple, run back. They can just keep doing this forever.
Yeah, I mean, this is all they got to work with, right? I mean, you got to just take what you can get and try to do something with this.
Are they making 2 independent smoke lines because they have that many of them? I saw one of them come out, and I can't quite tell, as now it's going to be starting to move closer and closer. Punij does go down. Now in a 2v3, pressure is starting to mount. That back rock has a double up on it as well. Shinboy trying to find an angle, work within this one, but cannot quite find it. Zhao Wu's taking some damage, has to set down. So now it's on to Suju. How are they going to do this? Is Yoho actually going to move into a more forefront position, or are they just opening up another angle?
I don't know if you can get this res off. That Punij there might be able to avoid it. The spray from Zhao Wu. He's got another frag. That's a Groza up there as well. If he can take those, that would be huge. Oh, it bounces off. He still gets the flush.
Yeah, but Balefrost also takes some damage. The longer he can hold this one out, as we are now going to be closing out phase 8 in just a few more seconds. means the fact that Yoho in that center point control is big. That's why we saw the send down. That's where the game's going to end. Shinboy also now coming up, trying to reinforce. Nades, though, still coming out. And at this point, Yoho has to be like, damn, how many nades do these guys have?
Well, now it's just Xiaowu as Suju has been knocked. He's got to go crazy. The vehicle sends Shinboy back just ever so slightly, but still, that's the last smoke here for Xiaowu. He's going to have to get it done with the barrel up close and personal. More grenades being expended by Yoho to try to keep him at bay, but he's pushing ever so slightly ahead of him. Oh no, he got caught by that one.
After all of this time, please don't go down to that. He's just like, no, I don't even want to risk it anymore. It's too hazardous. He's just going to step out. Yoho picks up another game, not the highest amount of kills, but complete control at the end. And you got to give the heart to 17. It was that they wanted that one.
I loved it, man. Great game, well fought by both sides. And Yoho, back-to-back games. Phenomenal performance here for them today. Halfway point of PGC has been checked off, and they are really showing that they are a force to be reckoned with in this lobby. Those signs are amazing. I am so jealous.
Sick. I love those. So good. I'm sorry. Now, we talk about the final act for show. You can see fans definitely coming up for us.
Right, exactly. I mean, the fans really wanted to see this final act in person, and I want to know what the desk thinks about all of this. So let's send it over their way.
I think the story of the day, the story of the finals is 2 chickens per team. These guys know how to put up wins, and it's not a coincidence that their logo is a baby chicken, and they know how to bring them home. My name's Tavis. I'm here with Martin and Toby to break down the action. Guys, I'm going to be honest. When I showed up here today, I did not expect Yoho to do back-to-back chickens and climb